We're live. Let's see here. Do we have tweets? We've got tweets. Retweeted. Post in the Discord.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yep. Sound great.
That is good.
Hey, Delvin, you like my work uniform? Because I just explained why I'm wearing it.
Hey, don't ask. Just say yes.
Yes. Thank you, Donnie.
Perfect. Just know that Haley can't be getting fired again. That's the
Yeah. Your fire privileges are suspended and revoked.
are revoked.
I don't give a fuck. You gotta fucking make ice cream in that motherfucker. You better make some goddamn ice cream. Keep this goddamn job.
Hey, I liked the job. It was a long shift on Monday, but it was fun.
That's good.
Okay. The notes are updated, I think, with all the things. Little pre-show for the chat. We normally don't do this. We're starting a little early. We've got folks that are out. Here's some of these headphones. There's got to be Delvin's if he put his headphones down.
He did put his headphones down.
So I think that's all the notes. Let's see here.
What are you eating?
What up? Who's eating?
You just opened something.
This is a bag of tea.
Oh.
Damn.
Jesus, Mom.
Hey, that's just as fun as your son messaging me on PlayStation and calling me Auntie Haley.
Jesus Christ. I'll just let y'all have at it. Do what y'all gonna do. Y'all let me be in peace. Have y'all discussions about life and whatever the fuck y'all talk about.
Oh, shut up. You're talking. All right. I think that's all the notes that have been updated. Doesn't look like Dev updated anything. So I think we're covered. And now we can start the show.
Why are you Gary?
Oh, he never changes it. Hang on, let's fix that.
Okay, there you go.
It's usually when I log in, all the Shaq stuff is left over. So I got to swap it all. All right,
Gotcha.
Here we go. You guys ready?
Yes.
Ready.
All right. Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome back to Play Some Video Games. My name is Donnie Reese. I am co-piloted this evening, as I am most weeks, by Delvin Cox. I will be hosting this evening as Dev has called in sick to attend to family matters. So we've invited Haley over. So the XP reunites again with a double dose in 1 week. So,
I gotta tell you, this is too much.
This is too much? Too much, Haley?
I told you already.
Too much?
Yeah, I told you, yes. Twice a month at most. Not in the same goddamn week.
The same like 5 days.
Hey,
yes.
hey! I didn't do anything. I was asked. I said sure. Here I am.
I'm excited. I've had a good day.
I am too.
My car comes home tomorrow. My drink tonight, I'm drinking rum, and I love I keep hearing reverb. I'm Delvin. I think I'm hearing your headphones.
Huh. Let me
But
turn them down some.
my favorite thing when I make drinks is I love when my soda, because I usually mix my drinks, is like frosty, icy. Not like completely ice, but not, but like I need chunks of ice and it needs to be frosted, like almost chilled. That's the perfect.
Almost like a slushy.
Almost. It's like half and half. Like I get some slushy, but it's mostly liquid, but it's still really cold. And I just mix the alcohol with it, and it's just the perfect blend, man. I love it. So
That's how I like my root beer.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. This is how I like my drinks. And it all worked out tonight. My timing on the freezer was perfect. So I am ready to go. So let's start each and every week, like we always do, with what you're playing. And Delvin, what's up, man? What you been up to?
Man, I've actually had a really good week, man. I'm starting to feel better now. I beat God of War. That was a blast.
Allegedly.
I beat it early, too. I actually finished it. I have the actual proof of me finishing it.
Still up for some debate, but allegedly. I mean, I'll give it to you for now, but we'll see. We'll see. We're checking into it.
I've had with the exception of one little mishap today. It's been a great week, man. I played
Game of the Year?
God of War. Oh yeah, God of War still my game of the year. It was fantastic, and it was amazing. It was so good. And I'm playing Callisto Protocol.
Ooh, how you liking it?
That game is fucking fantastic. I love it. I am.
Me too.
Almost to the end, and I gotta tell you, Donnie. I think you was right. It's better than Dead Space. I like it that much.
I want to replay the remake. I have not played Dead Space since the time it came out. I don't know if I wouldn't say if it's better or worse. I don't even know. But what I will say is I'm not one of those people. There are a lot of people that love Dead Space. They think it's the greatest horror game ever made and stuff like that.
Yes.
I have never been one of those people. I played Dead Space. I liked Dead Space. I thought it was great. I was never like, it's better than my favorite Resident Evil or Clock Tower. It was never anything like that for me. It was just a good horror game that I really enjoyed. So I'm interested in replaying the remake soon, because just to see if 10 years removed, maybe my opinion's different now. But when I played it originally, and I've only ever played through it the one time, I think I tried playing on PC a while ago and I had controller issues. But not like in the past year. I'm talking like 5 years ago. I think I tried to replay it on PC and had controller issues. Back in the Steam Machine days, might have been like 6 or 7 years ago actually. But yeah, I'm interested to see if I still just like it, or if it becomes something that I maybe cherish more. I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing about it, because I guess this remake of Dead Space is going to be kind of different from the original one.
Yeah, there's new stuff added to the remake.
So it's you got to kind of like, yes, it's so modernized you probably won't be able to tell. But based off of what I played from the original Dead Space and this feels like everything that I didn't like about the original one. This kind of improves on it. And I wouldn't compare this game to Dead Space. This feels different. This feels lively. Like if the world feels lived in, even though it's not. And I like the fact that as you're going through the places you're going through, there's constant chatter between like somebody talking to you, or what you have to do. I like the fact that with the original Dead Space, if you didn't have your gun, you were just useless. Like, you could stomp and you could swing your gun at somebody, and that was kind of it. This game kind of focuses more on melee combat, and I think that works really well for it.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of melee focus. It's crunchy.
Yes, it is.
Even later in the game, after I got some enhanced weapons, you still have to do a lot of melee just because of the ammunition. But even when I had ammunition, I still kind of wanted to do melee. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that combat.
The upgrade that allows
gave it a crunchiness that it needed. It makes it feel visceral.
Yes.
The upgrade that allows you to break their arms when they try to block your attack is real nice.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
That's what melee should be, man. It's when you hit, it has impact. It feels you feel that weight. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I kind of listened to what people were saying about the game. Like I immediately, like, I'm not doing all this shit. I put that shit on easy. I upgraded my stasis and stuff, so I can use that and upgrade my melee weapons. And it's a lot more fluid and fun to the point where I didn't need guns. Guns were almost a bonus.
Yeah.
And that made it kind of fun. That made it even more fun.
I definitely needed them. You definitely get into some spots. I know there's one part in the last act of the game where there's a lot of folks.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, I needed every bullet I had at that point. But usually, and the other cool thing is, I always remember there's like I'm trying to dance around spoilers. There is an area that has a lot of verticality to it, in a lot of like hidden, or not hidden, but a lot of rooms and compartments. And that specific area of the game is almost, you can play that game like you played The Last of Us. And I think it really, because of the sound, it really makes you, it doesn't make you, but it challenges you, and it's easier to get through if you stealth your way around it. And that was a lot of fun. It was
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like an area where there's a bunch of these monsters and you have to stealth your way through it.
Yeah. You can go guns a-blazing, but if you do, it'll alert them and they'll all come. I died. That's how I know that.
That's a terrible idea. Yeah.
And then, then you learn quickly. It's like, well, if I just duck down and hop over through this window and hang out over here and pop over here, like you can really kind of, like The Last of Us, to very similarly make your way through different rooms and different compartments. And it's fun.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that is that happens further in the game.
Yeah.
So it kind of changes up what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it. Like as soon as you get comfortable with one enemy type, a whole new enemy type comes in. You're like, oh, this is different. And then there are certain enemy types that you see at the beginning of the game that you don't see again.
Yeah, it's not like
I kind of dig that.
It's not like a button masher. You don't just like smash melee your whole way through the game. It changes. You've got to play differently. There are moments of the game that through the environment or through resource scarcity, they force you into combat and being aggressive. And there are other times where they allow you to be stealthy and sneak by. And they do change it up quite a bit.
Yeah, and I like that a lot about the game.
Yeah.
It's really fun to play.
How's it looking on console? I remember I had trouble on console when it launched.
It's beautiful to me. It looks amazing. I love how
I never looked into it. I don't know what
it was just frame rate stutters.
1440 and stuff like that on console, or is it full 4K and all that?
I think
it looks like it's full 4K.
I think it's dynamic.
It looks like it might be dynamic. Then.
Nice.
That makes sense. But it looks great. It looks
gorgeous.
Great.
It's gorgeous on PC. I called it the most impressive visual game I think I've ever seen, and I stand by that. Like visually, just in the texture details, in the complexity, like when you're in the ship and stuff and you see all the wires on the electronic dashboards and stuff like that, like you can tell there was a lot of work that they poured into that, and it really shows. I mean, it's very impressive.
Yeah, and I kind of dig that it has some well-known actors, but they're not big enough where you're like, oh, that's Tom Cruise or something like that. It's like, oh, okay, I know him from other things. And I think it's pretty cool. The voice actor is really good in it. It feels like a mix, like Aliens almost.
Yeah.
Like the movie Aliens a little bit. It has that kind of creepy feel to it.
There's like
where
some
you don't know what's around the corner.
Kind of in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mix of sci-fi horror stuff, and it kind of works for the game. And I think it's cool. The death animations are cool as hell, and I like that you can skip them.
Yeah.
So if let's say if you done seen it like multiple times, you're like, all right, just press the X, and you don't have to go through the whole animation and stuff like that, and just get right back into the game.
So, fun fact, that's new. That was added with a recent patch. At launch, playing through the game, you could not skip death animations.
Oh, okay.
I never would want to, but I
didn't want to either, but you couldn't skip them at all. Like
the game is if there wasn't like a Dead Space remake coming, I think a lot of people would be more
into it. Yeah.
Happy to talk about the comparisons, because that is like an obvious comparison. It's a pretty grisly, gory type of game like Dead Space. Where that is one thing I do remember from Dead Space is it kind of dared to go there before a lot of other games would, which was nice. And this game definitely is like a step forward in that department. I mean, there's some crunchy animations that as a horror fan I love. I'm just like, this is amazing. Keep coming.
I kind of dig how, a little bit like the Resident Evil remakes, how you get to certain points and the story just keeps moving along and it feels fluid with it, like from story to combat to the quiet moments when you're kind of uneasy. It's just such a great game. I highly recommend people.
It's like pacing. You like the pacing?
Yes. Yeah. Really good pacing. I think that especially now, it's on sale. I've seen it for like $39.99, stuff like that. This is a game I think people should play. Even if you plan on playing Dead Space, play this one as well.
I think this is a prime candidate to probably come to subscription services soon.
Oh, it probably will, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hold off for it to pop up on Game Pass or Plus or something quickly. But if you can buy it, if you're interested in buying it, I mean, I wholly recommend. I think it was number 2 or 3 on my list last year. I mean, I really, really liked it a lot. And I wrestled with it too, because I was like, is this just like recency bias? And just the more and more I played, the more and more I really just kind of fell in love with it. I really like a lasting memory for me is I really like its level design. It gives you a lot of area to explore, but at the same time always kind of funneling you forward. I never really felt like I was lost, even though there are multiple paths and multiple options to go. And I think that's good game design. Like that's when designers know what they're doing. And I would be very excited to hear about DLC or just more from this studio. Like this, this was their first game ever. That's highly impressive, like incredibly impressive. Xbox would kill to push this game out. Like, I mean, it's really, really, and I don't mean that as just a shot at Xbox. I truly mean that as a compliment to them. I'm like, this game, I'm not trying to tell you it's better than Naughty Dog or something, but like this game, especially after they got it patched up, like after it wasn't that bad. Like it was bad on release day, but that they had it fixed in like a week, like 4 or 5 days. They basically had it running, so it wasn't that bad. After those patches came out and they got it stable and everything, this game visually, technically, story level, acting, performance is on par with everything like the Coalition has done, in my opinion. Like if you were like, this is like a game from a studio like the Coalition, and think that they've got 20 years of experience doing that. And they did it on their first try. I think it's highly impressive. Very impressive. When you see like what other folks put out, and I don't mean to like just throw stones, but I think of like what was that game last year that came out that Square Enix published, that like shooter Destiny type thing?
You're talking about
Outriders.
You look at something like that, and you look at Saints Row, think of Battlefield, think of all the missteps that happen from successful development studios. And then these people, their first game out of the gate, like what a home run. What a home run. Yeah. They nailed it.
I agree.
Crushed it.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's an amazing game. It looks great. It's kind of what I want from video games. Like if we can get studios doing stuff like this on a regular, like not necessarily like these horror games, but games this quality in general.
Yeah. This is very like Sony-ish, and it's very it's very like 2010-ish. I mean, it is a traditional 10 to 15 hour single player campaign linear scripted event game, and we don't really make a whole lot of those. Like Kenna was a big example, but Sony does this. I mean, that is like their bread and butter. That's what they do.
Sony helped out actually on Callisto Protocol. Like,
it makes sense.
Out with animations,
so. You can see that because I mean, it's a very Sony-like game. But this past generation into now, we've seen what used to be linear 15-hour games have become co-op campaigns and/or open world games. That's been like the shift. And this is I think some people would call it old school. This is an old school game, and we grew up on that, so I think we like that. I don't know if that everybody does. Like I definitely think there's a big segment of gamers out there that, I mean, because we see it, because they're very successful. They get a lot of play. They want multiplayer. They want open world, battle passes, things like that. So,
yeah, I kind of dig that. It's just the game.
Yeah,
it's
me too.
No like bells and whistles. No, hey, you got to buy this battle pass, or
I don't have to change my multiplayer. No. And Invite a friend, and I don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah, you just kind of buy the game, and what you get is what you get until, like Haley said, until some DLC comes out for a while.
Which
I'm digging that.
DLC. Their first DLC pack is scheduled for February.
I'm happy to hear it, man. I really am. It's in the news this week. We'll talk about it in a little bit later, but I'm happy to hear it.
First DLC includes like a permadeath mode and like an arena challenge set of rooms.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I know that like their like story DLC is scheduled for the summer. So
nice. An arena makes sense if you really want to focus on that kind of combat. I could see that kind of a challenge thing.
I will say this: I would if they're selling it, I'll probably buy it just to support the company. I want to see more stuff like this.
Put a pin in that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, just it's been a fun day. I if you look at my name today, it's because I got a funny comment, which happened to me earlier today. I went to I don't know if y'all have them down in everywhere else, but Dollar General.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I went there, and this based off of what happened. I went to the hood Dollar General, like the straight up hood Dollar General. I walk in the door, right? There's this lady who's clearly a crackhead. She comes to me and says, "Can I have $7?" and I'm like, $7?
Inflation.
What am I give you $7 for?
Inflation.
And she said, "It's a recession." I guess the homeless people know. Like, how do you respond to that with an answer?
They used to ask for a couple, $2 or $3. Now it's $7. That's inflation. It's inflation's real. Listen here. Listen here. This is the effects of trickle down economics. It has trickled down. It has finally reached the bottom of the pyramid, and everybody has to adjust accordingly. I am going to shout out a comment here from I Can't See. I think it's very spot on. He says, "We need more games like that. I want to see a triple A and retro. Imagine having AAA visuals, ray tracing, Vista Sun side scroller like Metroid Dread. Yeah,
that'd be dope.
Killer. Yeah. So that's nice.
I kind of
dig it. Yeah, Haley, go next. I'll say
yeah.
So I've only really played like two things. A little bit more of Marvel's Midnight Suns, which, as I said, the character models do not look good at all. But I'm enjoying it. But what I've mostly been playing is just The Witcher 3. I just started Act 2, but I haven't actually like touched Act 2. So the way that The Witcher works is
how long is Act 1?
It depends. You can
very long.
Well,
oh God.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
How long did you spend in Act 1?
Me?
Yeah, don't give me a depends. Just you.
I spent 40 hours, but that's because I cleared. That's because I.
You see what happened just now?
Okay, hold on. That's because The Witcher does this thing where it puts all the points of interest on the map as question marks, and instead of focusing on quests, I went and cleared every single one of those out in the map before I started tackling quests.
I do that. I do that stuff too.
That is how it took me 40 hours. If you're just focusing on quests that you need to do, you can get through it in like 10 hours for Act 1. Yeah. But I haven't touched any of the quests in Act 2, because once you unlock Act 2, you open the castle, which allows you to get my favorite Witcher gear set. So I went and started hunting for the diagrams to craft that. And so that has gotten me up to level 30 now. The level cap's 60. So
nice. You're taking the upgrades?
Oh, absolutely. I will say it is still a big shock that food does not heal as much as it used to. So in baseline Witcher 3, like before the upgrade here, food used to heal like 80 health per second for like 10-15 seconds. Now it's 15 health for that time.
Did they change that?
Oh, because they like with the upgrade, there's some mods that were added to the game, like as part of like the rework, and one of those is a combat rebalance, which changes how food works. So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is the visual improvements and the performance improvements, are they very noticeable? Are you really noticing a difference?
So yeah, you can, especially in cutscenes, you can tell the difference. When you're just roaming along, at least for me while I'm playing, because I play with the camera a little further back, while riding like Roach or whatnot, but in combat it's up close. It's less noticeable, but the big thing for me is performance because 60 frames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 is important, man. I'm really hoping the next Nintendo thing gets it. I feel like most developers, I don't want to say they don't care about it. Some of them definitely favor performance, but a lot of developers are perfectly happy at 30. Like 30 is a acceptable thing for them. And as more and more people start to experience 60, like you definitely notice a difference. It's massive. And I know PC gamers will try to 120 is not the same as from 30 to 60. 30 to 60 is important. 120 is nice. But it's not like going from 30 to 60.
Yeah,
30 to 60 is like revolutionary.
Because I've seen 120 give me a headache. Like I tried to play.
It's hard to go back. I can go back, but there's always an adjustment period now.
Yes, yeah.
I have to play for like an hour before I settle into it.
Yeah,
I put up with it, and it takes me about 20 minutes before I forget. Before it starts to fade away, and I just get used to 30.
So when I was replaying Red Dead last year, it was an adjustment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an adjustment going back because it's only 30 on console, and it's it can go to 60 on PC, but it was definitely like an adjustment. But no, like I'm having a blast with it. I just started the first expansion pack, Hearts of Stone, as well. So
killer.
Yeah.
I bought that game for $6, thinking I'd play it, and I still haven't pressed the button.
And I haven't like.
One day
play on it yet, but I did re-download The Last of Us Part 1 because of the show.
Great.
So I will probably be.
Perfect.
I am one of those people. The show literally made me go, "Hey, I want to play this again." And so
that's exactly why they remastered the game. That's exactly why they have it.
Yeah.
We've got some questions. I was going to talk about the show, but we've got several questions about the show, so I'm sure that'll work out naturally as we start to get through it. So we don't have to talk about it now. To echo your sentiments, Delvin, I too am feeling better. I generally had a great day last Friday, probably the best I felt since like Thanksgiving. After the flu and COVID and stuff, I've just had like several weeks in a row, and then work and everything, and it's just really, really down. And whatever reason, this past weekend, man, I just felt much better, just energy levels, just mood in general, which led me to playing more games. So I got Kakarot, the Bardock DLC, the season 2 DLC pass, downloaded that and started playing it. Like a lot of other open world games, there are lots of question marks and side missions. I'm doing all of them before I'm advancing it. It's fantastic. I don't need to go super in depth talking about Kakarot, but it looks great. I'm very much enjoying Bardock. The dialogue is corny. They do not match like one-to-one to the show. They do script other little side events, like if you go fishing and stuff like that. Like I had to go find ingredients for a recipe for Lord Frieza for one of his goons. So there's like stupid little Dragon Ball Z stuff like that on the side, which I really enjoy. But I continue to love Kakarot. I think it's incredible fan service. It in so many ways is like the Dragon Ball Z game that I've always wanted. Just to have freedom to, like you just have so much freedom to fly around at like hyper speed and then do all of your special attacks. And the DLC is one of my favorite kinds of DLCs. It's a lot like an Assassin's Creed, like an expansion DLC, where it's like its own little side mini game. Like you pop into it and it starts you all over, and you build up your levels and you upgrade, and like it reteaches you like all the basics of the game. I haven't played Kakarot in over a year, and I get into the game and it's like, remember, here's how you do this. Here's how you level up. Here's how you collect these things. Here's how you do the, so it's like a brand new game, which I really appreciate, versus like things that are just like, you remember how you played all this and everything, right? And they just throw you back into it at the hardest level. They really like work your way up to it. So I'm looking forward to playing more of that. I did play Shredder's Revenge. Finally, I hit play on that and gave it a good old run on Game Pass on PC. Game Pass for PC app. Had a great time. Played about 6 or 7 chapter thing. Maybe it's a chapter 8. And have you guys played it? I mean, I know Delvin, I know you did, but Haley, did you ever play Shredder's Revenge? Okay. No. I've never been like super into Turtles, or at least I don't think I have been since I was in like maybe first grade. And I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about it except for the fact that it feels like an arcade beat 'em up. I mean, it's exactly what like the doctor ordered, right? It's exactly what you want it to be, what you think of it is, how you remember it being. And I'm definitely enjoying a lot of fun. I do, the next time I jump in and play, because it's something I want to finish. I kind of want to change characters, because I've just been playing Donatello as I always did, and I think after like 6 chapters, I was like, kind of want to do something else. I wish there was more combat. Maybe like if I had one wish, like maybe I had more combos, more agency to do more things, through the combat of the game. I'm just kind of just a little samey, a little repetitive, but good in a good way.
Yeah,
but good. It's challenging in the right ways. It's fun, but like once you kind of master your basic attacks, I just kind of find myself like kind of spamming the same attacks over and over again.
The game kind of encourages you to play as the other characters. So much so that after you finish it, you get a bonus character.
Yeah,
I can say
that's standard. That's Streets of Rage, Scott Pilgrim. I mean, that's just beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
That's standard. That's street. That's
I think my favorite thing about Scott Pilgrim is when you play as Wallace and all the attack moves, like all the words change above him.
Rage has more combat, way more ways of combos and doing different stuff, and you can get really technical with it in terms of back attacks and stuff like that too. But I'm enjoying it. It's good. I think if you're a Turtles fan, it's exactly what you wanted. I played a lot of Switch, like shit ton of Switch. Actually, I've like fallen back in love with Switch. I won the contest. I got new Switch games for free, and that led me. I was like, well, if I'm gonna play Fire Emblem and I'm gonna play Zelda, I kind of want to do some upgrades. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but I got new Joy-Cons. These are sweet. I got these new split pad Pro compacts. These are the Hori split pad Pros, but if you've ever seen split pad Pros, they're huge, right? And they've got the big grip off the side and everything. These is an or not only say an improvement, it's a revision. They're a little sleeker, they're a little thinner. The thing that I like about them the most is that they sit flush with the Switch. The old ones didn't. The old ones stuck out above the Switch, and there was like a little indentation to go down to the Switch. I never liked that. Those
ones are bulky.
Yeah. Also, when you put these on the rails, every time I've ever had Nintendo Joy-Cons, there's always been a little play here. They kind of wobble when they're, like latched on. This is the most secure, firm fit to the Switch I think I've ever. And you guys know me. I've had how many knockoff Joy-Cons and regular Joy-Cons, and I've had a lot of them. This is the most secure. There's not a lot of wiggle. There's not a lot of play there once these are snapped in. It feels very sturdy. And the D-pad is good. I have split pad Pros, the regular ones. All of the buttons on these are clickier than those. Those were mushy buttons. I've never been a fan of mushy buttons. Some people may like them. These are clicky. Like you can hear it. I like clicky buttons. And these are clicky. And I had a blast. I've been playing Mario and Zelda. I played Graceful Explosion Machine and Hotline Miami, and I played Mario Golf. I also, when I got these, I was digging through my old Joy-Cons and stuff, and I realized that I had an old terabyte SD card, like in my old Switch case. So I swapped SD cards, and I basically just re-downloaded everything. So I was going through a lot of old games that I had on Switch that I haven't seen or thought of in years, so I was playing Turok. I almost beat Turok 1. Like I just sat there and played Turok for like 6 hours. So I had a lot of fun with the Switch and excited to play Fire Emblem. I bought something else for the Switch that I'm excited about that arrives tomorrow.
Ooh.
But I will talk about it on another show or on this show next week or something. I want to go hands-on with it first, but I'm very excited about it too.
I'm glad you're falling back in love with your Switch. That's dope. That's good.
Yeah. And that's a look at. You got some free games, and now I'm starting to. So before I was going to skip Tears of the Kingdom, right? I was going to skip it and wait for another Switch because I was hoping that another Switch was coming soon. Now that I won the free games, I'm getting a free copy of Tears of the Kingdom. So now I'm planning on playing it. Now that I'm actually planning on playing it, like I'm starting to like let myself see more of the hype. Starting to watch some of the videos, I'm starting to read more of the tweets. I'm starting to engage. Like before, I was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Like if I don't pay attention to it, I won't miss it. Now I'm actually kind of getting back into it. And now I'm kind of jonesing for some Zelda. Like I'm starting. The hype is starting to grow. It's starting to build. I was watching YouTube videos about Tears of the Kingdom, talking to Rebecca about fan theories and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, looks like I'm about to do this again. We're about to go back to Zelda. So starting to feel that hype a little bit.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. I had one more game on my list that I was going to talk about. Let's see here. We're 35 minutes in. I'll just save it for another time. We'll do it next week. It's a mobile game. Nobody cares.
Okay.
So yeah, let's jump right into the news and let me pick a bumper. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
You know what time it is? It's time for Psvg News. Doesn't matter what you're into. PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or PC. The crew's got you covered. So what are you gonna do? Start the game talking now!
Thank you, Travis Touchdown. Still got to get one of those day one editions. All right, our first news story this week is that Microsoft will reportedly receive an EU antitrust warning over the Activision Blizzard deal. This is known as a statement of objections. Microsoft was hoping to avoid this. They were hoping to work on an agreement and negotiate before, but apparently the EU antitrust wants to levy the statement of objections first, and then both Microsoft and the EU both admitted that they will then seek to find some sort of resolution. So this seems to be just kind of a part of the process. They'll talk about all the reasons why they think this might be a problem, and then Microsoft will try to make concessions to come to some sort of agreement. So yeah, you can continue to look forward to more of that news as it starts to roll out. In related news, Microsoft's Activision deal has won support from the European Game Developers Federation, which doesn't mean a whole lot to regulators, but it's just another, body that says, hey, we're thumbs up on this, obviously, from the Microsoft's open embracing of unions. So you make that for them to do that. Coming out in the news this week, very disheartening news, is that Microsoft has chopped off about 10,000 employees' jobs. Some of those employees are coming from the Xbox and Bethesda divisions. Most notably, apparently 343 has been hit really hard, as reporting from Jason Schreier. Their campaign team is seeing a lot of turnover, and Joe Staten, who many were like, please come save Halo when Halo Infinite released, is leaving 343 to go back to Xbox Publishing. So Bonnie Ross is gone, and now Joe Staten's gone. 343 is getting hit hard here. I don't know what that means for Halo. I can't even pontificate what that means.
I have no idea what to imagine that means for Halo. I'm gonna guess that means you're not getting any campaign add-ons.
I mean, they've been working on something, so I think maybe they will, but it might mean the commitment to Halo Infinite to be a thing for the next 10 years is maybe that's
gone,
possibly being changed. And I don't know. I don't want to speak for Halo fans, but I've been wondering with Halo Infinite's lack of success or foothold, if maybe that's a good thing to just maybe make another Halo game. I don't know if they're there yet or not, but I don't know. I worry for Halo. I hope they can turn it around. I continue to think they need Battle Royale. I'm going to keep saying it until I'm proven otherwise. I think they need a Battle Royale. I think that's what would help them. Campaign content's very hard to make. It's very scripted. It's very laborious to do story content. Battle Royale gives people hundreds of hours of content for basically the same thing over and over again. It's the same reason people make rogues. It's a very developer-friendly way of additional content. And I just think something like that would be good for Halo, but that's my opinion. I've been told by a lot of Halo fans that opinion is wrong. I don't know. I just know that every very successful shooter is seemingly doing that, and I would think that Halo should do the same. But yeah, it sucks anytime anybody loses their job, but we're going to start seeing, and this isn't really new in the tech space. I feel like it might be new for video games. I think we're going to see a lot of similar things at other developers soon. Ubisoft, EA, probably Sony. Nintendo normally doesn't have widespread layoffs, but I also don't think they grow as much when their business booms, they don't take on a lot of people, but during COVID, a lot of tech companies grew by leaps and bounds. Zoom and Microsoft and Google, they're hiring by the thousands. They needed as many hands as they could get. And we've been seeing for months now, this isn't new, but the past 6 months, we've been seeing those sectors shrink and kind of adjust. And I think this is a big part of that for Microsoft. And I'm not trying to defend them, but they're a huge employer.
Yeah.
I saw earlier that there's like they have 220,000 employees, so
yeah,
just keep that in mind when you think of the number, like put it in scale. If you add 20 employees and you cut 2 of them, it'd be like the same percentage that Microsoft just did. So
yeah, I also saw Amazon cut like 18,000.
Yeah, Amazon. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of those. All of those COVID boons, usually in the tech space, they're going to be, right sizing.
Yeah, this is the only part of the Amazon thing I saw that was similar. Is they just cut their entire comiXology department, like gone. It's all gone.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, like you said, the recession's real. Everybody's starting to tighten their belts. Yeah. Next up, I had the Suicide Squad had an image that leaked that seemed to cause some concern when people saw a battle pass section and what seemed to be various currencies and stuff that went on. However, VJC dug in and asked the developers, and they said that the battle pass will be focused strictly on cosmetic items like skins and outfits, and the currencies at the top of the screen are also character-specific XP that will be used to progress each character's skill tree.
Yeah, should also note, anyone who thinks that image isn't real is wrong, because Rocksteady's been going around DMCAing the image. So
that image is real.
It's real.
Yeah,
and it's supposedly the game is still coming in May.
Yeah. No change in date so far. May 26th, I think.
You guys are a resident Gotham.
Hey, I'm there. I'm there day
fans.
one.
Are you guys?
I'm there day one. I'm there day one.
What about you, Delvin?
I'm a little trepidatious, but I'm going to try it day one.
I'm there day one. It's purely. I was there day one before, but I'm there day one. It's Kevin Conroy's last project. I don't care how shit it is. I'm there.
Okay. But Delvin, you're a little more hesitant.
Little more hesitant. Gotham Knights bit me in. I like the concept of a Suicide Squad game. That sounds awesome. Like, hey, you got to go take out the Justice League. That sounds like an amazing concept. But the execution, the battle pass, I don't care about that. Everybody's doing that now, so it's like it's kind of the thing. So people hear battle pass, they all get like treated like it's the boogeyman. Like, it's not. You don't have to buy that shit. Simple as that.
Well, even when you don't have to buy it, I think what we have to start just look at a battle pass as like old school games had battle passes. They just didn't call them that. They were like challenge menus. It's just a way of gamifying progress. They give you specific things to hit. It's really not different from like achievement hunting. Like if you go in to find achievements and trophies, a battle pass is very similar. It's like, here's a list of things we want you to do. Play the game for this long, do this many matches, get this many kills, do this many things, do 80 backflips. It's like Tony Hawk had a battle pass. If you think of it like that, it's like, go collect all these letters, go get the 10,000, 50,000, do 80 backflips in a row, like grind off of this thing on the top of the spaceship, like
grind from this point to this point without touching the ground. Like
it's really no different. It's really no different than that. It's just they've made it into a mode and they've just changed the way they present it to you. Like they're very just upfront and honest with it. And it's just a means of giving you more to play. They just want to keep you playing the game longer. That's it.
I mean, they all do that now. Like,
whether they call it a battle pass or not. Like, I think the thing with most battle passes is that they try to build in some sort of reward system. So like if you do it, you get a blue cape or a red hat or something. That's really the battle pass part of it. But if you just don't even look at it, it's just a challenges menu, just a list of things to do.
Yep.
It's all that different.
As long as it's not intrusive, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's the thing.
When you're playing the game, it just shows at the bottom of the screen. Like,
I forgot
what game did
pops up and tells you.
Yeah, what game did that? I know what you're talking about. What game did that?
That's why I turn on my achievement trophy. Like I turn all that stuff off. I don't even want to see it. Like don't I feel like it's for me. I feel like it's distracting and intrusive.
It is.
Like, I don't want somebody to be like, "Hey, you just completed this temple. If you do 500 more of them, we'll give you a trophy." I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Just let me play the game. And if I happen to do 500 of them, awesome. But don't put it in my brain. Like don't just do it. Like, I just want to play. Just let me play. And then let the achievements just happen organically.
I agree.
Okay. All right, let's see here. We've got Last of Us things. All right, so before we do Last of Us, the House of the Dead remake is coming to PS5 next week. I still have never played it. I've been waiting for it to come.
I've never played it either.
Game. No, I've played the old one.
House of the
original,
Dead,
right?
Yeah, but I've never played the original. Like,
it came out. Never played it.
I was 2 when it came out.
Oh, man, a great light gun game.
Jesus,
an awesome light gun game. I love House of the Dead. I haven't played the remake yet because the Switch version I heard wasn't very good. And then when it came to Steam, a lot of the Steam reviews were like, this doesn't work on controller the same way, which I understand.
I was going to ask, does it come with a light gun?
That
was my first question.
It doesn't. It's like a little indie game. It's like a $20 game. So I've been waiting for it to come to like a service that I could try. Like, I want to try it. So I've just been holding out. But I used to love House of the Dead back in the day. Callisto Protocol, as we talked about at the top of this show, has apparently failed to meet sales expectations, according to the publisher's annual reporting, revenue reports. The game cost roughly $162 million over 3 years to make and is yet to turn a profit. They hope to remedy this by releasing cosmetic items and DLC to help recoup costs. And obviously they'll put the game on sale and they'll make deals. And the game hasn't been out that long. It's only been out a couple months, but at the same time,
wasn't their sales target some ridiculous thing like the first Tomb Raider remake was?
That I don't know.
Because I remember that discussion around Tomb Raider as well, where Tomb Raider has failed to make a profit. Square Enix was like, we want 5 million copies.
Square says that about every game. I mean, Square says that about
every game.
Yeah.
Their bar is the best Final Fantasy has ever sold. And if you don't hit that bar, then you've disappointed them.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I hope that it finds success and has a long tail, because I think it's a very good game. And then I also hope that they're not so short-sighted that they're not in it for one project. To expect a studio to release one game to a market that's never heard of them before, and expect an immediate return on investment, I feel like is a high bar to set. A lot of times what happens is a studio releases a game, a new IP that you hope finds a foothold. You take a loss in that first game to try and set up future sequels or installations to make that game up. That's been the business model from a development studio for a long time. That's why you see sequels and franchises. You take a loss on Gears 1 as you market and show the game and get the game out there and all that, so you can sell Gears 2 and 3 and 4. It's not a one game return on investment. It's a 10-year plan. Like, that's kind of what I hope that's what they're doing. I'm sure it is. It is. You don't spend 162 million going, well, we better get it back by April or we're shutting it up. Like that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
The game plan should be to make a franchise.
Exactly.
And a franchise that you can build on and you can keep adding to.
If even not a specific franchise, the game, to find an audience, a customer base that will support that studio over multiple games.
Yes.
It doesn't all even have to be all the same game, just over there's certain successful studios have that. Motive, Respawn, Naughty Dog, the Coalition, 343. There are these studios that have a relationship with their customers. They will put something out and people will show up. They're just going to buy that game, right? It doesn't have to be the same game. They're just going to buy it because they support. They know what they're getting. They know what to expect from that studio. They know that it's good. That's what you should be hoping, especially in the AAA space.
Yeah,
especially in the AAA space. Yeah, and people feel the same way about indie devs. Think about Steam World Dig and stuff like that. Image and Form, Devolver. We talk about these publishers all the time. Annapurna. You know what you're getting from them. Like, that's that customer relationship. You don't know it's happening, but subconsciously it's happening. They've won you over. That's the plan. That should be the plan for them. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is coming to console in cloud at the end of this month, January 31st. You can finally play Age of Empires on your console via Game Pass.
I wonder how that's going to work.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. But I'm
super curious.
It's been something a lot of people have wanted for a long time. And hopefully, because Microsoft has really invested in Age of Empires IP. Their whole World's Edge and everything. So like hopefully this sticks and people start playing it again because it's big on PC.
I don't know how this is gonna work for console play though, because Age of Empires is really built for PC, isn't it?
Yep. Even consoles, they're bringing it to phones via the cloud. You're gonna be able to play it with touchscreen. So they think they've figured out something. We'll see. I mean, you can play Halo Wars on a controller, and I've played it. And, you can play it; it's fine. I've played several RTS games on console. Like it's okay. It's not my preferred way of playing, but you can get by.
Yeah, I enjoy Halo Wars. Halo Wars 2. It's pretty good.
I'm very excited for this. EA will show off their new golf game tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Today they posted some screenshots, and they looked great. It was a pretty golf game. So I'm very, very excited to see the PGA Tour, the Masters, whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Donnie needs his golf fix since Sports Story didn't work out.
Sports Story sucks. Here's the thing. I had a listener DM me about that game. Here's what I'll say. I'm going to say it one more time. Sports Story is a fine game. If you're somebody that grew up on like JRPGs, if you like Chrono Trigger and old Dragon Quest and stuff like that, you might like Sports Story more than Golf Story. Golf Story is a sports game that has little RPG things that you do when you're not playing sports. Sports Story is an RPG. That's it. It's not a sports game. You may hit a golf ball, you may hit a volleyball, but it's an RPG. It's a lot of quests. It's a lot of fetch. You just walk over here, get the thing, bring it back to this person, get the other thing, unlock the next thing, hit a golf ball to go to the next area, do the same thing. I mean, it's an RPG. So if that's what you're looking for, you might think Sports Story is the bee's knees. As somebody who loved Golf Story because it was a sports game and a golf game, it sucks. That's not like Sports Story just isn't. There's nothing about Sports Story outside of there is a 6-course exhibition golf mode that you can play. You can just go play golf. Outside of that, nothing about Sports Story is what brought me to that franchise.
That makes sense.
It's just like, it's not that it's bad. It's just not what I had to go collect oranges. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not what I want to do at all.
Yeah.
I want to become the greatest golfer in the world again. Where's max power? What's happening? Why are we doing this? That's so it was a miss. Hard miss. Stadia officially closes shop tonight at midnight. There are 2 hours left.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But they have released a firmware update via their website that you can use for a year to unlock your Stadia controllers. So you go to this website, you plug in your Stadia controller, you download the firmware update, and it will enable Bluetooth connectivity via your Stadia controllers. Remember, these controllers that they've basically given away for free as they've refunded everybody their money back, you can just use your Stadia controllers on PC and phones and tablets and anything else you can connect a Bluetooth controller to. I have updated both of my controllers. I paired it to my PC last night and played Kakarot with it. I paired my other one to my Chromebook. I played NCAA football with it. Works great. I had no issues. The firmware patch was very easy to do. You have a year to update those controllers. I commend Google and the Stadia team for doing this. I think this is great. They didn't have to do this. There was no thing at all that made them have to do this. And it's saving on waste. These controllers would have just went in the trash can. If they shut off Stadia and you just couldn't use them anymore, people are just throwing them away. And now you just have a controller you can use. And as I've said since we've done the Stadia show, one of my favorite controllers. I love the Stadia controller. It is a great controller to hold. It's got a great feel to it. I've always liked it. It's got Xbox buttons, got PlayStation sticks. It is like a kind of a happy medium between the two, big timers. So if you got Stadia, at the very least, you have a backup controller. That's cool.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a neat thing. All right. Let's talk about damn Last of Us TV show. Last of Us TV show had the second biggest debut in 13 years, attracting 4.7 million viewers on its opening weekend, and has since, in just its first week alone, before episode 2 come out, has already been viewed by more than 10 million people. PlayStation, trying to capitalize on this, has put up a 2-hour trial of The Last of Us Part 1 remake up for PlayStation Plus premium subscribers. Is that the high tier?
That is the
yes,
that is the $20 a month tier.
Wait a minute, the $20 a month tier, that's the low tier, right?
No. Lowest tier is $10.
Okay. All right. So the high tier, if you're the highest subscriber, you can play 2 hours. I feel like that's a miss. They should have just put the game in the premium tier, period. Just put the whole damn game up there.
You would think.
At the very least, they've got the 2 hours you can try it, and it's a great game. So we've got questions about The Last of Us show. Do you want to talk about it now and just answer the questions as we go, or do you want to?
We can.
We can.
Okay. So, what did you guys think of the show?
Who wants to start?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great start to a series. Obviously, I think the changes they made, some of them are a little jarring. It's a little jarring watching some elements of it, especially if you know the game. Like, I still have to get used to what her name is, Ellie. But overall,
really?
I think I do. I think she's a good actress, but in my head, I see Ellie like I saw in the game. I feel like Pedro looks a lot like Joel, even when you do like the time jump or whatnot. She doesn't look anything like Ellie, but I think she plays the role very well. That feels like a situation where they got the best actress they can find. And they didn't say, like, okay, you don't have to look like the person. You just are a great actress, so do your thing. But overall, I like it a lot. I think it's a real solid first episode.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, Haley.
I know, I didn't realize you weren't done. Go ahead.
No, I think I like the direction it's going into. I think the spores thing, it annoyed me a little bit, but I got over that. I got over that kind of quickly. I like the little details they've added with certain things. Like IGN did a little thing about certain story beats that if you're paying attention to, you can catch. And I think it's really cool that they've added that much detail into the first episode. So I'm really interested to see where they go from there. I like it. It's cool.
Okay.
So I really loved the first episode. Actually, my mom loved the first episode so much because, as I said on XP, the streaming service that it's on here, the console app for it is missing a complete section that like allows you to watch like live television, but the television app has that. So I had to commandeer my mom's TV to watch it live. But so my mom was in there watching it with me, and when it was done, she goes, "Let's watch it together." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." I've got like she was invested after you know what. I'm not going to spoil anything in case anybody hasn't seen the show or played the game yet. But if you know, you know. She was invested after that and got real mad at that character.
I can imagine your mom getting mad at that.
I really liked the new thing they added, like the exposition before they even went to like the opening of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it was done real well. I will say I really liked the change from the car crash to the plane crash. That made that scene a lot more in depth.
Explain in depth.
So, like it to me, the car crash makes sense game wise because you know you want it to be quick. You want it to be like quick in there. Like, hey, you were in an accident. This is why her leg is there. But in the show, they fake you out. They think you're gonna do the car crash. Then a plane falls out of the sky, explosion, cut to black. Like,
Let me ask you this: did you just like that it was a surprise?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
I was gonna say since you brought it up, I felt that was a little ridiculous. Like, I liked it. I thought it was fine.
I think that's one way. I think that's another way of looking at it. I don't like or dislike it, but I definitely think the car has realism that the plane doesn't. The plane feels very Hollywood, motion picture, big explosion, but kind of unrealistic. And I don't want to just jump into it and talk over Haley now, but more like Dawn of the Dead zombie movie tactic.
Okay, that's fair. I will say I also like the subtle hints at how the outbreak started, which it's very much alluded to much alluded to in the game. Like it's readily right there.
The newspapers and stuff.
Yeah, it's right there in the game, but they're alluding to it here, and I keep seeing people go, "Well, how did the outbreak start?" And you don't need to do this, but if you go listen to HBO's like podcast that they put up, like talking about this in depth after the show, both Neil and Craig both said like careful-eyed viewers will be rewarded for like paying like in-depth attention. So, but I love the allusion to it. The dog freaking out, by the way, was great. Also,
that was.
Hats off to the actor playing that grandma. Oh my god!
The guy. I'll say a few things, but the first thing that I picked up on, it's just because of other shows I've watched, is I recognize several actors that I didn't know were in the show because I hadn't looked up the cast or anything like that. The opening scene, the guy that's talking about the cordyceps virus and everything, he's the Domina from Spartacus.
Guy.
And then the guy in the next door neighbor's house, the male in the next door neighbor's house, he was like Buddy, like the sleazy commissioner from like Friday Night Lights. And I was like, this is cool. Like, I know both because I knew Pedro and Ellie's character and stuff, but like seeing some side actors that I knew, I was like, this is neat.
My favorite thing about the epidemiologist talking about the fungal is my mom most noticeably recognized him as the brother in The Mummy.
Yeah. I like
and you're right, John.
Yeah, I like this show as well. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I'm probably more in line with Delvin. The Ellie thing is a bit jarring to me. I don't know yet if I'm on board. I want to say now, just right now, because we got questions about it and we're going to answer them and stuff, but it's been one episode. I don't want any of my comments to feel like I'm casting judgment already. I haven't seen the whole series. It's been one episode, right? So these are early impressions. But so far after one episode, the Ellie thing, I'm like, I think they're doing a very good job of translating The Last of Us to the show. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like the game moments were maybe better portrayed and have stuck with me more than the show has so far. There's not anything really negative to say about the show. I think the show is doing a really good job of bringing that, like, it feels right. It's The Last of Us. Like, it feels like The Last of Us made for a TV series. But some of the emotional high points and some of like the investment that I had in the characters, I'm not feeling quite the same pool that I feel like I have for the video game characters. And that might just be that it's new, right? It's a different medium. I feel like I went into this very much trying to tell myself, like, be open-minded to the changes. That's why I didn't stress so much on the sport. Like, they're just going to change. Things are going to change.
Yep.
Right. Cars are going to turn into planes. Spores are going to turn into tendrils. Like, things are going to change. The different actors, it's going to hit differently. It can't hit the same. And to say that it would be better might be too high of an expectation. So with that said, I'll just say that I liked it. I thought it was good. I am seeing the ramifications, to hop on my soapbox here a little bit, of being probably what I would call like a Last of Us super fan. My Twitter experience has been a disaster, just a mess since this happened. Like, to the point I've actively considered like muting The Last of Us, just something I never thought I would do. But the hype train that this show has had, which is like, it's bittersweet. It's like a double-edged sword. It's like, I'm very excited to see people excited for it, but at the same time, I just think people have gone maybe like too far. Like with everything that gets like viral and hype mania, right? Everything goes too far. Like, it started off, it was like, so like Friday, it was like, man, The Last of Us is a great game, and it was great. I'm seeing lots of fan art and lots of images and clips from the game, right? And people are like, it's a great game. And like Saturday, it was like, this is the best game to make a TV show. And then it was, this is the greatest TV show adaptation ever. Then it was, this is the greatest video game ever made. This is the greatest video game story that's ever been told. This is the greatest story ever told ever in anything. I'm like, what the like, calm down, people.
And I'm over here and I've seen none of that except like
that's what I'm saying with my Twitter page and my algorithm, right? Like for my For You, I'm sure that it's just me. I'm sure, because how many tweets have I posted about The Last of Us in 10 years? Right? I've got the book and the skateboard, and like, you know, like I'm sure that's why I'm not I'm not angry about it. But I am thinking of like trying to mute, like if this is how it's gonna be every episode, if my Twitter's gonna suffer like every weekend, I'm gonna have to mute some of it because people are just going too far. I'm not just talking just tweets. There were articles, headlines written. Yeah, so the greatest story ever. I'm like, when I see that stuff, I'm like, you've seen or read The Road.
Yeah,
you know that it's largely influenced by City of Thieves and No Country for Old Men. Like, it's not a novel. Like, I love The Last of Us. You know, like I feel like I shouldn't have to qualify this. People know this about me. I love The Last of Us. I adore it. It's one of my favorite video games I've ever. But at the same time, like I understand and respect. It's highly derivative of zombie movies and City of Thieves and like all of these things. It's not like new. It's what made The Last of Us different is it brought, I think, in my opinion, what made it special. The Last of Us brought weight and compassion and sympathy to the zombie horror video game genre.
It did.
That never had it. But in movies and in books, that shit's been there for decades, right? And at the same time, I also think the actors that portrayed those characters, and to give them credit, the motion capture and the cinematic team at Naughty Dog that brought the animations and the characters visually to life, and then the actors' voices and acting and impressions that brought their voices to life, they breathed so much life into those actors. It's not about the story. It's not about like the journey, you know, to the West Coast I'm not going to spoil it, but it's been 10 years. Everybody knows the ending. The story isn't it. It's Ellie character. It's her persona. It's her character. It's Joel. That's the special sauce. That's the newness. But these people out here are like, the greatest story. It's the best HBO. I'm like, y'all are just hype responsibly. If I may, just a little bit. I know I'm eat the hype. I know this may sound like hypocritical, but it's like, just maybe like cool little. Yeah, it's been one episode. Maybe wait to see all of them first.
The headlines are mostly from people taking quotes from Craig Mazin out of context to like get SEO, like search engine optimization, and like they're out of context quotes from Craig Mazin, and it's so wild to see all these articles pop up. It's like, y'all do this for literally every video game adaptation.
It's a lot. Yeah. Now, and I say that as somebody I really much appreciated. As I said before, it's a very good translation of the video game to the screen. It's very true. It's so funny because as a super fan, there are a lot of things that are different, and I'm picking up on all these little things. But as I sit back and I look at it holistically, it is The Last of Us. Like, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. There are so many shots that are exactly like the game, and as a gamer, it's very rewarding to see other people get such a similar experience. You know, and I like that, but just because I like that doesn't mean I'm going to go out of my way to all caps, you know, beat people over the head with it.
I mean, I'm being extremely autistic about it over on Tumblr, but I have sequestered it to Tumblr. I'm not constantly.
Twitter is that. My Twitter is your Tumblr. The whole thing. It's for 4 days.
Literally every reblog I have on Tumblr right now is like.
I opened it up on Monday and I was like, we're still doing this.
Yeah. But
I think there are several things to it. I think this is kind of what people wanted to see. And what I mean by that is that for so long, gamers haven't really gotten that show or movie that has been taken serious by the mainstream audience.
I understand the place that it's coming from.
Yeah. That's kind of what I think it plays in. Like for like even now, like people for a long time were saying like Sonic the Hedgehog's the best video game adaptation we've had.
Yeah.
So now to get like people were kind of like they wanted that, and I was seeing a lot of this. What they got from the first episode of The Last of Us, people wanted that for Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been real weird seeing on the weekend, like Halo fans looking at The Last of Us fans, and it's just a picture of sad Master Chief.
Well, I think a part of it is because there was so much expectation for that Halo show. I think it was Steven Spielberg was attached to it at one point, and there was so much things. So people had high hope for, okay, this is going to be the one that's going to bring video games media to the forefront. And when it didn't necessarily get, and I thought the show was okay, when it didn't get the praise that people expected, people kind of a little bit turned on it. And I feel like with The Last of Us, it's kind of living up to the hype because it's the HBO show. It being an HBO show helped for that a lot, by the way. That HBO pizzazz, and everybody thinks the HBO shows are just the shows to have. I think that helps a lot into it. And the fact that the show, based on episode 1, is good.
To that point,
plays into it.
I will say this: if I just be a little critiquey, if I just put on my critique hat, the show is a bit more campier than I expected it to be. It's kind of a made-for-TV look and feel. It feels a lot like the Dawn of the Dead remake movie, like the opening. Yeah, it's very, and I love that movie. Don't.
Oh no!
Again, I feel like I need to quantify myself. If you just heard me say that, I'm not throwing a stone. I love that movie. If you never listened to Decade of Horror, you have no idea. It's one of my favorite movies. But it feels like it's very campy in that way. When I was expecting Chernobyl, like that kind of that high drama, high look, mature HBO-ness. And I didn't get, that might be my biggest surprise from episode 1. I was like, oh, this is more like The Walking Dead. Like, it's just kind of like The Walking Dead.
That is a great comparison.
Wise, like visually, like it's more like that than what I was expecting with Craig. Chernobyl, kind of the Sopranos, The Wire, like that big HBO drama is kind of what I was thinking.
So actually,
got to be grittier, more realistic, and it's a little not. It's a little toned down.
Adding The Walking Dead in there as the comparison is great because I've seen it a couple times now, and people always get upset, and I'm like, no. If you take the pilot of The Walking Dead, with the pilot
season 1,
and you compare it with The Last of Us, they're on the same level because.
And the point that I'm making, the point that I think you're reiterating is I'm not comparing them because they're both zombie things.
No, I'm comparing them because
point.
You're taking something from a different medium and adapting it to television. Yeah.
It's just they're very similar look and feels.
Yeah.
Which is very much in line with like that Dawn of the Dead remake, which I'm here for. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a surprise. I was expecting a different take.
And
more of an HBO quality.
I was. And I don't know if quality is the right word, but just more of an HBO look. Like Game of Thrones. I was expecting kind of like that the highest of the high,
Game of Thrones has that kind of polish to it that kind of only HBO shows look like that.
Exactly. And this isn't quite like that, which is different.
Which is good. It's fine.
John 32 is a question for the show. He says, favorite HBO series? And then he says it's hard to answer that after one episode. I think that's maybe the right answer. It's just hard to answer that after one episode. Yeah. But here's a better question. Bonus question. Do you think there's a chance that a few years down the road, you'll have a different answer based on what we saw on Sunday? I would say, based on what I saw on Sunday, again, speaking to the HBO-ness, absolutely not. Nothing against The Last of Us, and I'm happy that we have it. As a video game fan and a Last of Us fan, this is great. But we're talking about some of the kings of drama. The Sopranos and The Wire. And like that is high writing. Like that is such a high expectation. I'm not holding this show to that level.
So
it's too much stuff.
If we're answering his question the way I thought it was phrased, my current favorite HBO show is True Blood, but
that's just more in that True Bloodness. Yeah, more
and
on that level.
Do I see my answer changing? Maybe if this show does sticks to this, maybe.
It's going to be hard. Like, HBO is the home of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's the home of, it's so many shows. The Wire.
Yep.
Sopranos. It's so many shows.
The Wire is such a great show.
Yes.
Like Oz. What a great show. You know, like
Game of Thrones. Like,
I think there's so
like
much, there's so much space that those shows had to explore that The Last of Us, if they're sticking true, it's just not going to have.
Yeah,
it's not going to get there unless they go beyond what we know in the video game universe. Unless they go beyond that, they're never going to get there. Like, there's not that much room, I don't think.
Yeah, and I think those shows had a little bit of the element of surprise to them.
No,
and
what
I mean by that, because we
kind
of know the last.
Exactly.
Yeah, we kind of know the Last of Us story. With Game of Thrones, we didn't know what was going to happen. Even if you read the books, you didn't necessarily know what was going to happen next week. Same thing with The Wire, same thing with The Sopranos. So you kind of anticipated and you kind of expected something like to be surprised. This show feels, at least from episode 1, feels like they're coloring a little bit outside the lines.
But in the same coloring book.
In the same color book. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I was like, this is The Last of Us that I know and love. They're doing a little different stuff. I think it's cool. Like, I'm being open-minded to change, but at the same time, they're not offending me by destroying something, that I know and love, and hold dear or anything like that. They're saying
I agree.
They're staying in the same color book. Q43 in. I hope that, I'm not sure if it's like Quentin or something, but Q43 in writes, in honor of The Last of Us, tomorrow is the last day before the zombie apocalypse. That might be true. You have time for one last meal. What are you eating? Are you going out or are you staying in?
Steak.
Haley was quick on that.
Yeah,
I love a good steak, but not my final meal. I love steak. Like, steak is a great meal, but like, it's not. I don't. It's not like nostalgic. It doesn't give me like that cozy, like warm and fuzzy feeling. Steak is just good. Like, steak is just a good meal. But like, when I'm thinking my last meal, it's like something. I'm probably going meatloaf. I probably want meatloaf.
I don't like meatloaf. So.
I want meatloaf. I want mashed potatoes, like a side salad. I want gravy. I'm looking for that, like that home. You can tell from my answer, I'm staying in. I want like that home comfort, cooking, like that meal that makes me think of like mom, grandma, not Longhorns. I don't want to think of Longhorns. Like, I want something that hits home.
You know what? Really good homemade spaghetti. Not the shit that come out of a can.
Yeah.
Like homemade spaghetti.
I make a mean spaghetti sauce. My kids love it when I make spaghetti.
Yeah, that's what I want. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Nice.
I love spaghetti.
But how are you doing your steak?
Me?
There's only one answer. If you don't answer correctly, you're forever forbidden from this episode. From like your entire PSVG affiliation rides on how you answer this question.
Medium rare?
Exactly. That's the only way to answer steak.
Who doesn't eat steak medium rare?
This is the correct answer.
6-year-olds.
My wife, yeah, who eats her steak like a 6-year-old. Exactly.
That's terrible.
How do you survive the weekend? Zombie apocalypse.
I don't.
I'm straight.
I'm
good. Like my house is like a fortress. So
I feel like we've answered this before. I'm probably taking my own because I have two paths ahead of me. Abandon my family and survive, stick with my family and die. Like, I've watched way too many zombie thing. I know how this goes. I can't be peddling around a wife and kids. They're gonna get me killed.
I'm not surviving a zombie apocalypse because of the medication I'm on. Like
it's gonna happen. They're gonna get me killed. They're too slow to run. They can't, they're too loud to keep. Like, I either have to abandon my family and go on my own, or we all die. Which means I'll probably just stay and we'll all die. I'll probably hide as long as I can. And then when push comes to shove, I'll probably do it on my own terms.
And I'm not surviving because the medication I'm on, like, they're not going to make any more of it, so eventually it'll run out. Like, I'm not surviving a zombie apocalypse.
I might make you do it better. Maybe you become like a ninja or something. You have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No. You know what medication I'm talking about. It would make me want to do none of that and actually want to physically harm myself. So.
Well, maybe you could channel that into harming the zombies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That could work.
Okay.
I'd be fine. My house is like a fortress.
Yeah, but you're in Miami, though.
The only thing I
don't trust your house
I was going to say that.
in Miami as it is, let alone zombie apocalypse.
I say the thing I would have to worry about.
You're in Florida. That's what I'd be worried about.
Is people coming to my house to take what's mine.
Dude, Florida?
That's the problem.
I'd just be scared of Florida. I'm scared of Florida now.
Yeah.
Florida now scares me. Modern day Florida scares me, and then I'd be more scared. Okay, let's check out our special section.
You got your rude days. You want your rude days. You got your motherfucking rude days. You want your rude days. You got your rude days. You want your rude days. You got your rude days. Rude days. 93. Chicka, chicka, chicka.
Wicka, 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 wicka. Our gold coin presents Rude Days 93 says over or under Starfield is released by June 30th.
Under.
Over. I'm going over. That thing is coming up next fall.
I was going to say over.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say next fall, you mean 2024?
No. I mean like this year, but
this year.
June 30th. Past June 30th.
I was going to say October.
Yeah. I think Redfall will probably come out in May. They'll probably redate Starfield either before E3 or at E3 to come out September or October or something. Yeah. And I think that's totally fine. I don't think that's a big deal. Even if they dated it for like March, I think it'd be fine. Like next March. It'd be a bummer, but I think it'd be okay. Over under 1 million sales for PSVR 2 in the first 4 months.
Under.
I want to say over, but the price keeps me from doing it.
Yeah,
if the price was the
price
same, I would say over, but because it's not, I'll go under.
Yeah, the price is exactly why I'm saying under.
I think the demand is there. I think there's more people interested in VR now than there was for PSVR 1. I think PSVR 2 is going to, like when people get hands-on and do impressions and reviews and stuff, I think it's going to be positive. I think it's going to be good. I just think the price and maybe production, that's another thing to think about.
I mean, price alone here in Canada without a game at all.
PlayStation make that many? Like for day one, you know, like so I'll go under.
Yeah, price alone here in Canada, it's like $900 without a game.
Nah, son.
See, look at John 32 says zombies aren't hitting Florida. They're armed to protect themselves appropriately. That just means that the zombies in Florida are then armed. Like, do you not understand how zombies work? And I don't trust DeSantis is going to like lock it down.
Oh God,
not at all. He's going to act like there's no zombie apocalypse happening.
Exactly.
There's no zombies.
What are you talking about?
I mean, that's how
vaccine.
That is literally how all zombie movies start. Anyway, it's like, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odds Mario Odyssey sequel is announced this year. It's a really good one.
40%.
I say likely.
I feel like odds is weird to put a percentage.
Yeah, I was gonna say
true or false.
Yeah.
Okay. False.
I'm gonna say true. I'm gonna go to wild card.
Going on it.
If Tears of the Kingdom's coming out this year, I'm gonna say they're gonna announce Odyssey game.
So here's the question:
might not be Odyssey 2.
So that's the thing, but that would be a sequel. What if it's just another 3D Mario game?
Yeah, if it's another 3D Mario game, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. I mean, it's just like Mario.
The question is exactly Odyssey 2. Like it has
to say Odyssey.
See,
Odyssey has to be in the name.
What if it's like Mario Tears of the Kingdom? Just like it's like
Mario World, and it's just another 3D Mario. Even let's say he still throws his hat.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's not a sequel to Odyssey. That's just a new Mario game. It's not a sequel.
This is hard. That makes it harder because I'm trying to figure out like if it's everything is just like Odyssey, but it's not called Odyssey 2. Damn,
I will say false, but here's the thing. Here's what I will say. I think the next Mario game will be more like the 3D World expansion that they had, the little cat thing. I think it'd be more like that and less like Odyssey.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be like some sort of like open area Mario 3D World game. Not 3D World the game, I'm not sure if you guys know what I'm talking about. They had like
I know you're talking about.
Yes,
Cat Quest.
I know. Yes, I know which one.
I think it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next big 3D game. It's going to be like that. I hope they don't announce either one of them, and I hope they announce Donkey Kong because we are way overdue for a new Donkey Kong game.
That'd be fun.
That would be better. Do that. Save the Mario game for the next Switch.
I'm not mad at that either.
That's what I'm hoping. Donkey Kong is the thing I was hoping last year would be Donkey Kong. So this year, some people are saying Star Fox or Metroid Prime. That's gonna be my IP that I'm picking. Let's do a Donkey Kong game.
What kind of Donkey Kong game do you want though? Do you want one like Donkey Kong Country, or do you want something like what Mario is, like an open world hub Donkey Kong game?
I don't really have a say. I mean, when I said it, I was thinking a 2D Donkey Kong game, but I don't care. I would like to see it could be a spin-off game. Like I just would like to see Donkey Kong again, but I would like a 2D game. They haven't made a 2D game in a minute, and I think a 2D Donkey Kong game would be great. Tropical Freeze was fantastic. It was really hard, but it was fantastic. Maybe something that's a little more Mario-like, but just a 2D game would be great. I think it's just great filler. Every time Nintendo, they can always kind of fill in the gaps with 2D games. They usually do Yoshi and Kirby and stuff like that. Donkey Kong's like the best one they could pick. I'd much rather see Donkey Kong than say like Star Fox. So Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, if nobody's ever played it, you're missing out. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is fantastic. It is one of the better games that they've made. It's tough. Wasn't that
on GameCube?
Really good. It's on Wii U. Okay. It's a Wii U game that they ported to Switch, and it is really good. It's just a really good game. If you're into platformers, if you're not into platformers, you don't.
My mom used to love Donkey Kong. Really I was not very into it.
A Donkey Kong Country would be fantastic if they just made like a new country game. That would be awesome.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country was the last one I played.
Or if you want to talk about spin-offs, talk about Diddy Kong Racing coming back. Don't get me excited. I'd lose my shit for something like that. It'd be dope. I've got some good buy or sells this week. We haven't had a lot of great rumors in the rumor mill of late over the Christmas break, but they started to ramp up again this year. And this past week, very nice. Nick Baker from Xbox Era says Scalebound revival is being discussed. Xbox and Platinum are talking about bringing back Scalebound.
This is hard because I think they are talking about bringing back Scalebound.
I do too.
But whether it will happen or not is a whole other thing.
Of course, yeah, and you nailed it. Because here's the thing. Here's what I'll add to back you up. There's two reasons I think this is true. One, Platinum Games needs projects and money because it hasn't been great.
No, it hasn't been great for Platinum.
Xbox needs games. They just need games. They need to publish games again. So I think there's probably something to this. There's enough Scalebound has stuck around in the mind sphere of Xbox gamers that if they announced it was returning, I think it would be met with positive reception. Even if the game maybe isn't. But I'm eventually going to say false because I don't think they make it to the finish line. I don't think this project...
That is exactly why I went to sell.
I don't think this makes a lot of sense for Xbox. Outside of like some sort of nostalgia play or just to say they did it. Like unless Platinum has a really good working... Like maybe they've been prototyping it and they're looking for a publisher. Unless they've got a product ready to go. But again, I just don't think Scalebound was ever going to be that game. You know, I question Platinum a lot. Like it's more of a question Platinum. Like they have it in them to make a game like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. The next one, Starfield getting a possible bump out of the first half of 2023 because it's currently undated. This was the rumor that Rude Days was talking about earlier on Defining Duke. Matt said, quote, they could go through a test and go, it is ready. It's just very up in the air in that regard. So we all took the over. Or who took the under? Somebody take the under? Yeah, you took the under. So you think it comes out before June?
I think it comes out in June.
Okay, just in June. I got you. Yeah, I don't either. And then Quentin Flynn. This is a shame Devin's not here. Quentin Flynn is the voice actor for Raiden from Metal Gear Solid Rising.
Oh,
tweeted in response to somebody that asked them about Metal Gear's Rising's 10th anniversary and Metal Gear in general. This voice actor replied, quote, "Stay tuned for things to be announced in the coming weeks. Buy or sell Metal Gear announcements on the way. Imminent Metal Gear announcement. Incoming in the coming weeks. Weeks, Delvin. Metal Gear is back, baby."
I want this to be real.
I'm willing it into existence. I'm buying this shit out of it.
Okay, so don't get me wrong. I expect we'll get Metal Gear announcements in the coming weeks. Absolutely sell. No.
By the end of March.
Sell.
I'm buying. Do it, Konami. Set the world on fire. Metal Gear Solid remake. Let's do it.
A while back when Goofy, like the voice actor for Goofy was like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming. It was like 10 years away.
How many games leak like this all the time? There's so many
voice actors
that just
not even just voice actors. Look at Norman Reedus leaking Death Stranding 2 in the middle of a TV interview.
I did lines for that last year. And people are like, what?
That does happen a lot.
John 32, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
he thinks it would be E3.
That is literally why I'm like sell.
That's
because
a fair point.
Yeah, like if you're gonna announce something Metal Gear, why not have all the eyes on it?
But they did their Silent Hill thing, right? Just on their own, just the video presentation, did all the things. Here's the thing: I agree with you, and you're probably right. But when you've got Metal Gear, here's the thing. It doesn't matter.
Logic goes out the window when it comes to Metal Gear. Yeah,
if you announce Metal Gear, everybody shows up. It doesn't matter. You don't need E3. E3 needs you. They need Metal Gear.
I agree.
This doesn't work the opposite way around. This isn't scale down. This is Metal Gear.
Actually, here I want to throw buy or sell in. Sean Ashmore tweeted yesterday. Let's bring Quantum Break back. Does that ever happen? Yeah.
I saw that shit. No.
Yeah.
Listen, guys. I respect that you're nostalgic. It wasn't that good.
I
enjoyed it.
You know what's funny? Every time I turn my Xbox on, I get the notification that you'd commented on my post about it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not that great.
I enjoyed it.
It
was a great TV show.
That might be better. It might be better. It would have been better as a TV. Like, that would be better.
Yeah.
Than the game.
Those 20-minute scenes in between the game, like, this is a pretty good show.
Break.
Quantum Break was 2015.
Remedy.
Yeah, it was Remedy.
Made it. That's what I was thinking.
Remedy, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
No, because they're working on Control.
They're not doing that.
Yeah.
Control would be better.
A lot of work
with that Control TV show. That sounds fucking awesome.
That's a good idea.
So what is the Control TV show about? Because it definitely won't be about Jesse. Because think of all the other built-in universe television things they have. What's the Control television show
all
about?
That Twin Peaks shit and let me watch it. That sounds great. Yeah. Quantum Break was kind of ahead of its time and was a big budget project. I'll give them that. Was very good looking game for an Xbox game for their first party. The track record was one of the standouts.
I mean,
does that mean that I want to see it come back? No,
but it also it
like
predated.
Sunset Overdrive was also great. I don't want it to come back either.
I want it to come back, but
we're good.
Quantum Break predated Life is Strange with branching story paths.
Yeah. Daniel says now you want to talk about game-based television show. Because that's you. Have you played Control? Like it's very fitting.
Yeah, Daniel, play Control and you'll know why Donnie is making that.
It's very fitting. It's very good.
Seriously,
he's not playing Control. He's not on Nokia phone, so he's not gonna touch it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. He can't get it from the BlackBerry store, so it doesn't. It's not his wheelhouse.
It's on Game Pass, so he can play it on mobile.
Yeah.
Okay,
Delvin, that's the end of my rumor mail. So why don't you take the question segment?
Let me get to the questions. We have a few questions, don't we?
We do. We don't have to do them all, unless you want to do them all. We're at 90 minutes, so.
Let's go to. I guess we'll go to this question that we talked a little bit about earlier. Matthew Dawson asked, "Are battle passes ruining games?"
No.
If anything, As much as people may not like them, especially our people of our generation, if anything, they might be one of the most important developments in games in the last 8 years. A lot of people talk about how games haven't progressed, they don't evolve, they're not new. Battle Pass is definitely a new feature in games. And I'd much rather have games have battle passes than lots of microtransactions.
Yep.
I agree.
Like forced multiplayer. Like that was always a thing that games started doing. Like everything has to be multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
I'd much rather have battle passes.
Y'all remember the online passes that came with games?
You remember when Last Generation launched at the beginning of that, where everything was like microtransactions and DLC, and like core, like campaign stuff was being locked, and give me the battle pass, like give me the battle pass. This is a much better deployment of that.
Absolutely,
I agree. Let's get this next question out of the way because I already kind of know the answer to this. Maybe Greg asks, "Who's getting the Edge controller?"
Dev
or VR?
Is Dev getting that controller?
Dev, I don't think Dev says he's getting it.
He's not.
I don't think he's getting the Edge controller.
Oh wow, I thought he definitely was.
Yeah, I'm not spending $200 on a PlayStation controller.
Have people done hands-on with those yet? I haven't been paying. Like, are they out there yet?
I think there's hands-on. I think that's how we found out the battery life in the Edge is worse than the standard DualSense.
No way. Is it really?
Yeah,
it is.
God.
Yeah.
Y'all deserve better. You realize that life is good, but it can be better, right? You guys realize
yes,
that there are Xbox controllers. Like, you don't have to do this to yourself.
Insert the Pedro Pascal meme of it. Life is good, but it can be better. Yeah,
you got these Stadia controllers for free, guys. You just go get one of those. Flash it, battery lasts forever. Jesus, I can't imagine. I can't believe the battery life is worse. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah. They literally came out with like the battery for the DualSense Edge is like
Dev is like, make the consoles bigger and the battery's worse. He just leans into that shit.
I mean, look, I've got the plug and play kit for my Xbox, so
those are pretty good.
Yeah,
I like the Xbox controller does that, by the way.
I rarely charge my. I feel like I play with my Xbox controller like days at a time, and
yeah. Do you know why? It's because look, I love the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. I love them, but they're battery draining. It's why the battery doesn't.
That makes sense. They got motors and stuff. Yeah, that probably makes sense. And checks out.
Yeah. All right, we got a question from TPR. He asked, favorite mini games in gaming. I gotta say, playing retro games and the claw machines and the Sega arcades and the Yakuza games are really fun.
Yep.
He says honorable mentions go out to WarioWare and Mario Party, but those are kind of already built in video games from the ground up. So what do you guys pick?
If we're talking like what are we counting as a mini game? Because technically a mini game in BioShock is the hacking thing. That's technically a mini game.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah,
sure.
Whatever you want to be.
Yeah. I like the lock picking in Bethesda games.
Yeah, it does feel like every Bethesda game has a lockpick.
I was going to say that, yeah.
That's true. That checks out. My least favorite thing about Bethesda games, every time I think about Bethesda games, is instead of having like a reticle or like a target, they always have that dot. Like it's just the dot, like in Dishonored and
you can change that
and all that. But here's the thing. They're really, really accurate and specific. Like you can't just look at an item and like open it. You have to put that fucking dot directly on it. And that always bothers the shit out of me. I'm like, can you just generally, you put a chest here. Can I not look in the chest's general direction and open the chest? Like, I don't know, every other fucking video game in it. They're like, hey, no. You have to be 3 feet from it and looking at it at a 44-degree angle, or this will not open. It drives me nuts.
No, like I like Bethesda games, but they're janky. You're right. You could change the little dot so it's something different if you really want. Like you can actually even, I'm pretty sure, turn it off.
Oh, that would sound like a nightmare. That's the worst mini game. The way this works, that's a disaster, Haley. You're turning off. You're like, how did any of these doors open? Because you didn't put the dot open on the door handle.
You'll be fucked.
Hey, speaking of, just remember, that's going to come back into conversation, not once, but twice this year, because Fallout 4 is getting a next-gen console release this year.
Right.
God, how many times are they going to release Fallout 4?
My favorite mini games are interactive load screens that like let you do stuff. Like,
those are great.
Anytime a game gives me like something to break or smash, or like if it's a fighting game or like a game that's combat and they let you do like combos. So like when the game is loading, they drop you in an arena and they give you like a little combo meter. They're like, hit X 3 times, R1, L1. You know, like anytime they let me do something like that, like I'm like, this is fun. This is so much better than like now loading. You just like wait. You know, you just stare at it. On Shaq last week, we were talking about there was a Nat Attack game that apparently was in Mario Paint. I never had Mario Paint, but I recognized it when I Googled it. I recognized it was in Mario Maker. They had a Nat Attack, and I believe it was like a load screen. You can like tap on the little things and get as many flies as you can. Stuff like that's dope. I think Bayonetta has like combo load screens. Assassin's Creed usually does like little things where you can kill people and stuff like that. Some games like let you. I remember light gun games used to let you shoot like the now loading letters. Like they'd put up the letters like loading, and you could shoot them and stuff like that. I think those are dope. I always like some of those. I feel like there was another one that like was like a Galaga load screen, where like it would load and like you would play like a little mini game of a Galaga while it load. Yeah, that shit is dope. That's a lot of fun, and then you almost look forward to like that loop if you're dying or something. Like, all right, and get another high score. You can do this again. It's like a great way of experiencing stuff like that. And then my last thing would be say shout out to Street Pass. DS, 3DS Street Pass games were all mini games, and a lot of them were really good.
I want to throw out this isn't like one game specific, but games who throw fully realized like arcade machines in their games, like Wolfenstein does that. It lets you
I love that in Yakuza.
Yep. All that stuff's good.
Going to the Sega store and playing Space Harrier, I love it. It's great.
Was it the Animal Crossing? You could play like old NES games and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That stuff is dope. That's really, really good, like nostalgia. That's good fan service.
You know, it's another good mini game to play in Street Fighter 2. During
you break the cars and shit, and you do the break
the cars up.
Yeah,
and shit.
That's good stuff. Yeah,
pretty fun.
Good. Yeah.
And then Mortal Kombat had the test your might thing when you get to a certain level. We have to.
What about the? I don't know if this counts. I don't think this counts. I was gonna say the Mario pinball levels. You get the star and they drop you into like the pinball things.
That counts.
You think it counts?
I would count that because it's not normal Mario gameplay in any of the Mario games.
No, not Mario. Sonic. Did I say Mario?
You did say Mario.
Yeah, sorry, it's Sonic.
Yeah,
it's Sonic when you got to get the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun.
That counts.
I went out of my way to do that shit. I was like, we've got to get the Chaos Emeralds. Got to do it. That was good stuff.
Okay. Here's a good question since Dev's not here, because he's going to say nothing. From Micah, they ask, what's a lost or failed game that you think deserves a second chance?
I always answer this question the same way. Clock Tower.
That's a great answer.
I would love to personally, here's what I would love to do. I would love to buy the IP of Clock Tower and then give it to the people that make the Coma. The Coma and the Coma 2, they make these little like side-scrolling horror games and give them the Clock Tower IP and like let them make the same game but with Clock Tower. And I think it'd be awesome. Smash it.
Lost or failed game? Like, what are we talking? Like, didn't sell well? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what that means.
Either a game that's been forgotten between time or a game that just didn't sell well.
Yeah,
I
don't think Clock Tower was a success. I mean, maybe had sequels, but like, nobody knows.
You can say that's a game that's lost in between time.
Yeah,
a game that people don't talk about anymore.
Yeah.
So I would say I want Sunset Overdrive to get another chance.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's your answer.
Hey, I love Sunset Overdrive. You know this.
I know you do, but damn.
Hey, Sony owns the IP. They could do it.
But like Clock Tower, you know, people are always like Parasite Eve, Dino Crisis, Resident Evil.
That is my answer always.
Nobody ever says Clock Tower. Like maybe me. I've never heard anybody else ever be like, you know what game was awesome? Clock Tower.
I love the first one.
Yeah, me too.
System has the shit.
I know that people.
I love it.
I know that people out there do, but it's not like remembered, you know. And it was really good, and I would like for it to come back. I have another answer though, because I just played it recently. Turok is dope, and there's no reason why Turok, like you could absolutely make a Turok Uncharted game or a Turok Tomb Raider game. That 100% can be a thing.
Absolutely. Speaking of Tomb Raider, did you see Power Wash Simulator's getting Tomb Raider DLC?
Well, I got tagged about it. Somebody was like, "Hey, you love Power Wash Simulator?" And I was like, "I've never played Power." I think it's TPR. I was like, "I've never played Power Wash Simulator."
No TPR. You just saw Donnie washing cars. He wasn't playing Power Wash.
I played Power Wash Simulator in real life, but I've never played the game. What is this? Is this like Lara Croft wet T-shirt contest? Is that
no? So
that's what I thought it was gonna be, and I'm very disappointed.
When I first saw it, I didn't click on it. I was like, "Nope, that's bait." So I know what that is.
It's literally just like instead of washing like one of the normal levels, like a house or a park or whatnot,
you just wash Lara Croft.
You're washing Lara Croft's
blood fight and
mansion. Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking.
That's not fun.
I'm aware that's not what you were thinking.
That's disappointing.
You're the butler then, and that's not gonna work. You can't wash books and carpet and shit with a power washer.
No, you're outside. You don't go in.
You just pressure washing Lara Croft's driveway.
No, the whole outside of the mansion. That's what you're. That's
sounds
what
like video game work. They want to do their job.
Hey, Delvin, that's a whole thing. Have you not seen like half the games that release now? Are
that lawnmower game looks dope.
No, I want Donnie's idea.
Donnie, have you seen like all of the simulators? Like there's gas station attendant simulator.
Don't worry, Delvin. That simulator is definitely on Steam. We can get that on your Steam deck. That game definitely exists. 100%.
Why the fuck would I want to go be a gas station attendant?
I don't know.
Shit I don't even want to do in real life.
I'm sure that game on Steam has got mods for everybody you could think of. Tifa, Lara Croft, everybody. It's all there.
No, if they want to make a game that's going to sell like hotcakes, make a Waffle House simulator.
Sell like hot takes?
Sell like hotcakes.
Yeah,
wait.
That
make a Waffle House simulator?
Hot takes do sell. You're not wrong.
Did you see that girl who like blocked the chair with her arm? Got fired.
Waffle House.
That's disappointing.
I was some Pensacola.
Nobody gets fired from Waffle House.
Bam.
The whole rule is you have to know how to fight to work there.
The next Jackie Chan movie must star this woman. You know, like Jet Li must kick a chair at her.
Like she wasn't even like, she wasn't even looking and blocked the chair. Like
she owned it.
Yeah, that's how you work at Waffle House. That's like the rules.
She got fired for doing that.
Training, on the job training. That's because you get fired at Waffle House if you do your job well. That's also the Waffle House experience.
Or you lose a fight. You lose a fight, you're immediately fired.
You're immediately out. First rule of Fight Club. Right? We don't talk about Fight Club. If Fight Club was a realistic movie, it would have taken place at Waffle House.
Yes.
Hey, and I say that as someone who's never been to a Waffle House because we don't have them here.
Great food. It's great food. It's fantastic food.
That's why they keep you in fights there.
Do you know why it's
so goddamn good?
Do you know the myths of Waffle House, Haley? Do you know why it's great food?
I do not.
Because they're the only place that will serve you food at 4 a.m. And at 4 a.m, when you're hungover, everything is great food. Everything on that menu is made to soak up alcohol. It is just nothing but bread, grease, potatoes. That's all it is. Just
so good.
You got a belly full of bourbon, Waffle House has got you covered. You can get there. You can drink coffee until you sleep it off. They're open 24/7.
And you know it's good where there are multiple videos of fights breaking out at Waffle House.
People
don't care.
People line up.
People still go.
Not just go. You have to wait for tables at Sunday morning at 8 a.m. You can't just walk in. You have to wait.
It's a long line.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get turned away. It's that busy. People don't give a fuck about them fights. That's part of the show.
Yep. It's the experience.
Definitely.
I think there's a great TikTok about Waffle House where they walk in and the guy is sitting there. He acts like he's never been before. And he's like, this is great. And then he sits down and goes, why is everything wet? He goes, is our chef smoking. So you have a cigarette in his hand. He goes, everything tastes here like probation.
Yes.
This is the Waffle House experience.
That is the Waffle House experience.
Like Waffle House also used to like determine how bad a disaster is because whether or not Waffle House is closed?
They never close. If Waffle Houses are closed in the area, it's real bad.
It's really bad.
We actually have an ArcGIS layer that has an open status of all nationwide Waffle Houses, and we use it as a predictor of how bad storms are. We put our radar on top of it, and we watch them as they come across. And if they're closing, we're like, oh, shit, it's going to be a long night. It's a real thing.
Oh, that's great.
All right, let's see if we can get to a couple more questions. Ryan asked, which is an interesting question, what's your favorite third game in a franchise? And he also asked, do sequels always get worse as the franchise goes on?
No. Sequels get a bad rap. A lot of times I think sequels get better. So, for example, I think Uncharted, the series, my favorite is literally in their release order. I think Uncharted 4 is better than 3, which is better than 2, which is better. I think every Uncharted got better, which is what you want.
I agree.
Like, that's the goal. You should never be releasing a game that's worse than the last game you released. I think Uncharted just get better as they go on. My favorite third game in a franchise, this is interesting. I think franchise are like trilogy. Right? It's like, so would Super Mario World be the third game? So it's like Mario Bros, Mario Bros 2, Super Mario World? Is that how that worked?
No, 3. 3 is the
Super
third
Mario
game.
3, that's right. Yeah, Super Mario 3. That's a really good candidate. Super Mario 3 is legit. What?
No, I'm not saying it's not good.
No.
I'm trying to think of an
3 might be my favorite.
I'm trying to think of an answer.
Super Mario 3 is fantastic. That
might be my favorite Mario game.
My answer is Gears 3. Is that the right answer?
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
but I was going to ask, did the Gears spin-off game come out after or before 3?
It came out after because
it
came out.
You talking about Judgment?
Judgment.
Yeah,
I went 1, 2, 3, Judgment.
Yeah.
4 or 5, right?
Yep.
So Gears 3 is my favorite sequel.
I'll pick 3 because I off the top of my head I'm not blanking and I really don't like Uncharted 3. So
I liked Uncharted 3 more than 2, which was not a popular thing when that came
out.
No,
it's still
everybody
not
is like thing. Uncharted 2 is the best. I didn't see it.
I loved Uncharted 2. I really did not like what they did with Uncharted 3, but Uncharted 4 is
nice.
To be different, I'll pick Mass Effect 3.
Oh, I think that's a good one.
I love Mass Effect 3.
Haley doesn't agree.
Mechanically, it plays better than 2.
I mean, yeah, mechanically it plays better than 2, but the story in 2 is way better than 3.
Yeah, it's a different story, but I enjoyed 3 a lot. I know people give 3 a lot of flack, but 3 is awesome.
I'm looking up other franchises and trying to think. You know what? For the longest time, Resident Evil 3 was my favorite Resident Evil game.
That's a great Resident Evil.
Yep.
I like Resident Evil 3 a lot.
Call of Duty 3 is really good.
Yeah.
It's very good. Super Mario 3 might be tough to beat, though. Yeah. That's really, really good. What about Zelda? It was Zelda 2.
Zelda 2.
Ocarina?
Link to the Past, isn't it?
Link to the Past.
No, it's Link to the Past, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Link to the Past. That's also a really good answer, though.
That's a really good
Link
one.
to the Past is a really good answer.
My favorite Zelda game. It's really good.
That's your favorite Zelda game ever?
That's my favorite Zelda game
ever. That's a very fine, respectable. There's nothing wrong with that answer. That's a great answer. It's not mine. I'm more into 3D Zeldas than 2D Zeldas.
So I like the 3D Zeldas a lot too.
I see Smoking Joe in the chat. Yeah, Borderlands 3 better than 2, gameplay only. Correct. The story in Borderlands 3 is hot trash. It is not good. The gameplay, though, the gameplay improvements, 100%.
Huh, interesting.
Delvin, have you played Borderlands 3?
No. I've heard mixed things about it.
When did the Zelda CDI games? I never played those.
Delvin, every joke in Borderlands 3
I don't know.
is a poop joke. That's literally all the jokes in Borderlands 3 are just poop jokes. That's it.
Now I gotta look up this Zelda's 3DI game. When did those come out?
I have no idea. I just know that they exist. In my mind, it's like the Philips and the Atari and the Jaguar, like they're all at the same time, but I know they're not. But in my mind, they all came out in the same year. Because I just never, I never played those. Those
I don't
count.
think I did either.
Where's Rebecca when you need her?
Probably busy.
Zelda's CDI games came out in... No, that's not right. Chat, somebody tell us when the CDI game is. We're an old person.
1990s? Let's see what year
That's all I
says.
saw was 1990s.
I'm looking up the year. 93?
Ooh, that's really close.
The first two.
Link to the Past
Faces
was
of
90.
Evil,
Link to the Past was 90? Was it 90?
I think so.
I think you're good then. You're still good. Okay. Link to the Past is a really good answer. That's a better answer than Gears 3.
I think so, yeah. But is it a better answer than Mario 3?
I think so.
Oh, that's
I love Mario 3.
I love Mario 3.
But the thing with Mario 3 is, as great as it is, there are several other really great Mario games.
That is true. You can say the same for Zelda.
There's Super Mario World, there's Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey. I don't think people think the same thing about Zelda. Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, sure. But the rest of them, I don't think they hold it on the same. Most people don't hold the rest of them on the same page as Link to the Past. And a lot of people still think Link to the Past their favorite. Like, that's still legitimately a lot of people's favorite Zelda game ever made. I don't think there's a lot of people that are like, Mario 3 is my favorite Mario game ever. People love it.
I think
they respect it. But I don't know if they think a lot of people are like, it's the best Mario game ever.
They'll say that one or World. At least, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
People my age would probably say that.
Yeah.
That one or World.
But I think a lot of people might say Galaxy or Odyssey or 64.
64.
Or there's a lot of others in there, Whereas with Zelda, it's like, it's Link to the Past, Breath of the Wild, or Ocarina. Like, mine is Wind Waker, but I 100% recognize that that's not a popular answer. I know it's not.
Yeah.
I got teased for saying that forever. For Zelda, it's like one of the three.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. But Mario is a great series. It's had a lot of really, really great games. Like, they deliver. What about Sonic? What was the Sonic's third game? Was it Sonic and Knuckles?
I think it was just Sonic 3, wasn't it? What is just Sonic 3?
I have no idea.
I think Sonic 3 is Sonic and Knuckles.
That's what I was thinking. I thought the same thing. I'm going to look up Sonic 3. Oh, I looked up Sonic 3 and I got a movie. No, it's a game. Yeah, it came out in 94. Good job, Delvin.
Yeah, I think Sonic 4 is Sonic and Knuckles.
I've never played any Sonic games, so
nice. Trying to think if there's any other good. For whatever reason, I just completely lost. Like, all franchises just went right out of my brain. Like, we should know trilogies. There'd be great trilogies. GTA 3?
That is a good one.
Is that the third game?
GTA 3
third game.
Is it the third one? There's no spin-offs?
No, because the first two were top-down.
Right, I know that. I just didn't know if there was like a Chinatown stories or something. I didn't.
No, those started coming out after.
Dude, GTA. I'm changing my answer. GTA 3 is still like the best.
Revolutionary.
GTA, like one of the best. Yeah, it's one of the most impactful. Halo 3.
Far Cry 3 is pretty good.
Don't most people love Halo 3?
Halo 3 is one people
Isn't
love.
That like the one?
Yeah.
So Far Cry, I'm the wrong person to answer because I love Far Cry, but I didn't play them all as they came out. I have since played them all since then, and I would never say Far Cry 3. I don't get it with most people. I think the game is maybe incredibly overrated in my opinion. Like, it's good. It's not that good. It's not Far Cry 5 good. I think Far Cry 4 was more. Primal was better. 6 is. I like 6 more than 3. I think with 3, it's just the villain.
Yeah,
it's like boss. The guy. People just love the guy.
It's boss, yeah. And the funny thing about that is he's not even in the full game. He's in it for like 4 hours, and then that's it. Like, he's.
I was getting a lot of like when I played the remake or I guess I don't even call it a remaster. It's like a re-release. I was getting a lot of like it's kind of like Dead Island. You know, it's like Dead Island-ish.
Speaking of Dead Island, did you see they revealed?
It's really corny.
Yeah, they revealed the playable characters for Dead Island 2. Finally,
I didn't.
Oh,
are they good?
I didn't.
I thought they went over it in the last trailer.
No, these ones were released. Like these are specific trailers for each of the playable characters, focusing on them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So there's Jacob, Danny, Alexis, I think, and Leon, I think. All I know is the guy who's wearing the fireman outfit, not an actual fireman. His job is exotic dancer.
Hell yeah.
Nice. The guy in the original trailer that we saw, his name's Jacob. He looks cool. Danny looks cool. There's I don't know. They all look cool. They're all up on YouTube. They're all like 30 seconds long. So
Oaken Joe says Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was pretty good.
It is, but
is that the third in the series?
That is.
Wait a minute.
That is the third.
Is BioShock Infinite the third one?
BioShock Infinite is the third one. Yes.
That's a really good answer.
That's a really good one.
That's a really good answer. We've come up with a lot of good answers, and we didn't even Google it a whole lot. Matt, with The Witcher? The Witcher 3 is gotta be.
Yeah.
No,
Witcher 3's up there.
I'm changing my answer. Witcher 3.
There you go.
We're
I don't know
killing
how
it.
that played. Yeah.
So wait a minute. Who wrote the question?
I don't know.
What was his name? Ryan? Did you delete it?
I think it was Ryan. Yes.
Yeah.
So the premise of the question, the third game is the best one. We keep coming up. The third one is going to get this good. That's the great one.
Yeah. Fallout 3.
You need to get into
Fallout
the third
3 is
game.
real good. Yeah.
Max Payne.
Yeah.
Oh.
Max Payne 3.
I am forever
Max Payne
sad
3
that game did
so
not.
good.
I am forever sad Max Payne 3 did not get ported to
Doom
PS4
3?
or whatnot.
Probably not Doom 3. People don't like Doom 3, right?
No, Doom 3 is not.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Josh was telling me people didn't like it when it came out.
Yeah, they didn't like that one.
Yeah, not Bayonetta. I see John 32 in the chat. He says Bayonetta. Yeah, not Bayonetta. Arkham? Was it Arkham City? Asylum City Night?
No, if we're doing the whole Arkham series.
Origins.
Origins is the third one.
That's not it.
I love Origins.
Origins is
really?
great. I liked Origins.
It's really good.
It's not a good third game though.
Trying to think.
Infamous?
Second Son was good.
1, 2, and Second Son.
I don't think it's on my favorite. Infamous.
Actually, wait, no, Second Son doesn't even count. Festival of Blood.
Is that a full game? That's
yeah. It's a standalone title though.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
standalone.
Right.
What about the RPG? Huh! What about how's Final Fantasy 3?
People like Final Fantasy 3.
I wouldn't people like it, but I've never played.
What about Xenoblade? Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3. People love 3, right?
You know what? Snake Eater.
Yeah. It's not my favorite, but I do think
not my favorite, but it's
if that's the remake that they announce, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be excited because I thought Snake Eater was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Snake Eater is pretty good.
It's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite either. I like Snake Eater way better. I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is way better than Metal Gear Solid 4.
I agree with that. Yeah,
way better. like way better. I am not a fan of 4. 4 is like when I quit.
I like 4,
got off.
But 4 is more nostalgia than anything else.
Noise. 4 was more about HD TVs and stuff than it was about it being a good game. It's like, look at this cutscene. It looks so good.
30-minute cutscene.
Game is shit, but the cutscenes look great. Where Metal Gear, I would probably go Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 3. Then I will probably go Metal Gear 5. Then Revengeance. Then 2 and 4.
Oh, okay.
I was ranking them. And I never played the original NES Metal Gear. That doesn't count in my opinion. I'm talking about.
I don't think that counts.
The Solid franchise.
The Solid series.
Yeah. And I'm kind of interchangeable on that middle. That middle can go you could flip flop those. You could do 2, you could do Rising. You could flip flop those and take it here or there.
Rising is really good.
I really love Metal Gear Solid 2. I really love Metal Gear Solid 3, and I really love Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I kind of love the mainline ones. All the mainline ones I love. Even I like 4 a lot. 4, I know 4 is kind of weird. It's weird as fuck.
Yeah, 4 is my least favorite.
It's weird, but I still like it a lot.
But 5 is maybe 5 might be one of my least favorite stories, but I love playing it. So it doesn't even matter.
Has no story.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Whatever.
But playing it is so much fun. It's such a good video game. Yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully, we get another one, like another new one. Hopefully, the whole franchise doesn't end there, because 5 was really good. I would love to see like a next gen version of Metal Gear Solid 5. Not the same game. I don't mean like a next gen up-res. I mean like a sequel, like an iteration of that. Because Metal Gear Solid 5 was real early last gen, right? And you only think of what the technical advancements we've had. Think about Death Stranding and everything, and then what he could do now with that same concept, and that'd be really good. But no, we're getting Death Stranding 2 in some fucking cloud game he's making for Xbox. This is a great use of the kid Hideo Kojima's talent and time.
Hey, he loves Death Stranding.
We're not getting PT. We're not getting Metal Gear. We're getting UPS delivery simulator, Amazon package simulator, and
2.0
cloud game.
My favorite thing is I have Death Stranding installed. I still haven't started it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
No more Ocelot. No more Snake. No more Quiet. We got Conan O'Brien, Jeff Keighley,
and it's Hall Neck for some reason.
This is a fucking disaster. What a mess. It's a shame.
Higgins, I think that's his name. The bad guy in Death Stranding.
You're talking about Mads Mikkelsen's character or Troy Baker's character?
I think is it Mads Mikkelsen's character? No, it might be Troy Baker's character.
Troy Baker's character, which is why I asked how the hell he's alive for Death Stranding 2, because it's the same character.
Well, yeah, it's Troy Baker. He just lives through everything. All right, let's do one more question then, I guess. I'll let you pick which one, Donnie. You got Drew, F2P Joe, or El Tecchio?
Let me see here. Well, your El Teco, he wrote in like a ton of questions.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about. He had a Last of Us question we didn't hit. Let's do that one, and we'll do one more from El Teco. Let's do 2 of his. Let's do the Last of Us when he goes. Was Last of Us not the slowest start to what was built up to be massive? He writes.
I'm not sure I understand the phrasing of the question.
I feel like he may have not played the game.
Or maybe he just wanted more from the first episode. He wanted more progression from the first episode. Maybe he wanted to be further along.
But actually, on that note, that's a good point to bring up and I'm calling Delvin Jr.'s ass out. Filmmaking 101, buddy. I explained this to you once.
What would a Haley podcast be without a impromptu talking to Delvin Jr.? Yeah.
No, so I know. Delvin Jr. messaged me after the episode and goes,
"You listen to the show?"
He does.
Every
week.
Well, that's good.
I know when he listens to the show because he starts feeding it.
Of course
back
you do. I apologize. Of course you do. You absolutely would.
He feeds it back to me before
Who am I to
had
question?
the chance to listen to it.
How dare I question?
But no,
Haley's acute knowledge of Delvin Jr.'s mannerisms. I apologize.
Yes.
He messaged me after the show and goes, I didn't like the talk show bit or how long we were with Sarah for the opening. And I was like, okay, well, filmmaking 101. In a video game, you instantly connect with the character you're playing as, and so that's why it can be 5 minutes long. In a television show, you have to make the audience care about a character if their death is going to hit them hard. And that's why the first 35 minutes of the episode was spent with Sarah. That's why it was slow in the television show, is because in the game, the intro is 5 minutes. That's all you play as Sarah, but you're playing as Sarah. So you have that feeling of connection with her, whereas they have to build that connection in the television medium.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
they had to do different stuff. I appreciated. My favorite part of the show is like the enhanced world building and the extras that they're adding to like the lore and everything. That's my favorite part. But I definitely noticed like with Sarah in the game, you know, you're walking around the house, you see the news program, you see out the window, you see the answering machine, you see the note. Like I was thinking of that when we were just basically like rushing through it. I was like, no, you gotta check the machine.
Yeah. My favorite thing about
I did miss that.
Yeah, especially like the news program.
Yeah,
you know, like that whole guy eeriness of like waking up and like, where is everybody? And then the window and the news is going off and EAS broadcasts him. It sets that kind of, you know, shit's going down tone.
Yeah,
in the game more, I think.
I will say though, I like that in Sarah's bedroom, like in the first shot, you can actually see the card that like in the game she forgets to give to Joel. You can see it on her table. The Polaroid is on the side of the fridge, not the front of the fridge. But yeah, and also obviously she can't check Joel's phone because Joel's phone is not a smartphone, and he had it with him. So
yeah, and it made sense. It made sense. It was like adapted for TV, and it's still very true. You know, drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
That
was great.
Which is great because later you see Joel selling drugs.
It's very very good. So El Teco, just hang up, man. I mean, that's it was like 80 minutes. What do you?
It was a long episode.
A long episode.
And actually, if you listen to the HBO podcast, they mentioned that the first episode was actually supposed to originally end after you see Joel dumping the kid that the 20 years later bit opens in the fire.
Makes sense.
That was where the first episode was supposed to end. But the studio came back and was like, hey, 2 kids dying in the first episode might make people not want to tune in.
Fuck them, man. Quit
fuck that.
Yeah,
have they watched HBO?
Fuck that. Yeah. This is the damn makers of Oz.
Game of Thrones?
Have you seen Oz?
Seen
the
Red Wedding?
This ain't got shit on Oz. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, next question. Let me pick another one of his. Let's see here. Let's do this one. What is the black stuff in space?
What?
In space.
The darkness?
Yeah. What's the black stuff in space?
Darkness.
Darkness.
Charlie Murphy.
Oh, the darkness.
It's the void. It's the cold vacuum of space.
I'm not going to say the line I was going to say.
Darkness, brothers. It's the absence of light. That's what.
Yeah.
It's the absence of it. It's the light rays not traveling that far, and therefore you don't see it. So it's black. I mean, air doesn't have a color. If you reach out in front of you, air doesn't have a color. The colors you see around you are light refracting off the things around you. There's nothing else to refract off of it in space except for stars, which you see as bright spots in the infinite space of blackness. It's the absence of light.
Space is so cool.
I hate to get all sciencey on you.
You're correct.
But yeah, it's just it is.
But space is so cool.
It's the absence of nothing. That's why it's called space. Because there's no other word. There's nothing. Nothing's there. It's space. It's emptiness. We could call it emptiness. That would have been a very fitting term as well. But space is very fitting. You know, if you turn the lights off and you have no light, what does your room look like? Space. You have no light. That's how that works.
Fair enough.
That is correct.
I thought maybe you guys would have like better answers.
I don't have an answer.
There might be some weird Canadian or Southern answer, you know? Satan's beating his wife or some shit.
Jesus.
You never heard that?
I haven't actually.
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah, when it rains when the sun's out, there's a Southern saying that it's Satan beating his wife.
Oh.
Yes.
The devil must be beating his wife right now.
I see. What spawned that? Do you know?
I am not an expert on Southern mannerisms. A
lot of rednecks beat their wives. That's what spawned.
Well, I mean,
that'll be the answer.
Okay,
Probably
that's
true.
fair. That's
probably
fair.
true.
Yeah.
Probably true. Yeah. That's slicker than snot on the doorknob. There's a lot of great things that I pick up from my wife's family and shit. Just being in a gas station, you hear it, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yep.
And usually, when you hear that as a black man, you're like, oh no,
Time to go.
Time to go.
No, that's not just a black man. I remember when I bought my Ventura, I started driving up through North Georgia, and you start getting off the roads out of the cities. It's like let's not stay here long.
Oh yeah, I made that mistake before. My ex made that mistake before. Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're real quick.
She was like, "Oh, there's a peanut farm. Let's go there."
No.
Like, do you see who we are?
Yeah.
We
start going down the road, and you start seeing the yards change, and the fences change, and the flags change. You're like, oh god.
And she was just walking there, oblivious as fuck. Like, let's fucking go.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You don't notice what's going on around you. You don't see that they don't want us here. Like,
yeah. And so, like, you start thinking of all the horror movies that you've seen that started the same way. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Jesus. Time to go.
Jesus.
But they have all these peanuts. Fuck the peanuts.
You don't need the peanuts. Let's fucking go.
No.
Sometimes you get out these sticks, it gets real Texas massacre-y around you.
Oh,
it's getting real close. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
I think they actually butcher animals here. Like they actually.
There are certain parts of Georgia. I'm like, fuck this. I don't even want to get gas in this motherfucker. There are certain parts of Florida like that, but I feel like I can drive through those parts quickly.
There is those parts of Florida. I don't think a lot of people know that. There's some really country. There still is some real backwoods parts of Florida. Yeah,
there are some parts of Florida where I don't belong here.
There are parts of Florida where people will throw an alligator into a drive-through window.
Well,
there's lots of places where they solve their problems with alligators and swamps.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Ooh.
Get him, Gator Jerry.
Yeah, that's
time to go.
That's normal.
Yep.
Get him, Gator Jerry.
That's been a fun episode. We gave you another 2 hours of
we did it.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you are enjoying The Last of Us TV show. Go play the video game, any one of them. Go do awesome things. If you don't have a PlayStation, hang out with me. March something. It's coming to PC. I can't wait to play it again.
3rd. March 3rd.
Awesome. I've already got it pre-ordered. Can't wait to play it again. And yeah, we'll check out next week when we return, and hopefully Deb will be back. So, anybody have any parting thoughts?
Be good to each other.
That's very nice.
Fuck them.
That's better. That's more on brand. I was waiting for it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, play some video games.